All right, everybody. We're adding what? Ah, shit, 6. All right. All right, we'll add 6. That's fair. But we're on a pretty good trend, right? We've been close to on time for several streams in a row. Pretty close. And I think one stream I was even early. So I think the new system does work well. I think we've got something here with the new system. Here, hold on. So 6. So now I'm at 20 points. All right, let me just show the people. Let me show the people. Okay, current point total is 14, so now we're at 20. I think this is the stream that we can also figure out the actual value amounts to go with the late penalties. But 20 is not bad. 20, at least compared to what things used to be like 20 used to be like a standard for a single stream. So I think we're in a good spot right now. You know? Yeah. Adding to the point counter is my Christmas gift. Well, we actually have to set up the things for it. The hell? Just got a haircut today, so it's a little poofy. I don't know how to fix it. Good enough. Good enough for the moment. Good enough for the moment. Just got a haircut. All right. So we are going. I don't know. I did not want to do the stream until we were confirmed done with chapters for the year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if there's any way to know for sure whether or not a chapter is going to come out, because it's Tuesday right now, and if I check online, there's not really any sort of indication, right? Normally there's like, what day do leaks start coming out, right? Usually it's Tuesday, right around now. Usually we're supposed to be getting our leaks around this point in time. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. Jam Gomez 1017 says Morge, reading Kingdom shouldn't be a punishment. Wait, let me see that again. What do we have it set it up as? I know Kingdom's on there. I've read Kingdom, the first arc, but not anything more than that. I mean, it's not a it's just, it doesn't have to be punished. It's just stuff that you guys want me to do that I otherwise wouldn't do. So am I going to read a Kingdom chapter otherwise? Probably not. Probably not. Lava says, hey, Morge, can we get those points to like 50 real quick? Here, let's see. Let's decide the point counter system. So first, let me make a new thing. Here, can I just duplicate this? Let me just duplicate this. Duplicate this, and then delete this part, and then we call this. Here, you guys will see what I'm doing in a second. All right, everybody, take a look. Here's what we got. Here's what we're looking at. Yeah. All right. You see this? So, wait, let me pop out chat. Let me pop out chat for myself. Give me a second. There we go. Yeah. All right. And yeah. All right. Yeah, this is good. This is good. What the hell? Why do I have this up? Too many tabs. Too many tabs. All right. All right, whatever. I'll clean all this up later. Okay. So, what we're looking at right now, the late penalties. Harley, quiet. What is he doing? This dog. You be crazy. All right. All right. We need to figure out value amounts. All right. So, I've kind of ordered things in terms of what I would be most okay with doing to least okay with doing. All right. Ooh, thanks for the 2. What are the drones in New Jersey, Morjueño? I don't know. Probably aliens, according to you, I imagine. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. Ooh, says Morge needs to hit the volley as a Christmas gift to the people. No. Notice that Bollywood Dance is nowhere to be seen here because I will not be doing that. That's not an option. Even law cosplay is too high. Nah, I'd be okay with doing law cosplay. It's as long as I can be lazy with it. I think that's what I said. If I can be lazy with it, I'm cool with doing it. So let's see. So I think that one Kingdom chapter on stream, I'm going to price that at 25. All right. Habanero, I'm going to price at 35. All right. Nah, 40. Okay. Video defending Usopp, I got to put that high. That's got to be pretty high because that's a whole video project, you know? As long as I can defend it, as long as I can upload it whenever, it's not the worst. I'm going to put this one at, like, law cosplay, I'm going to put at 80. In defense of Wano is, like, easily 100. I could see myself getting there 150. That's a bad one. Collab with Jay and Murphy. That one actually kills my free time, so I'm going to put that at, like, 200. Drop video not on One Piece, I'll put that... Are these too high? Are these too high? JM Gomez says reading Peak isn't a punishment. Then don't vote for it. Then don't vote. You don't have to vote for it. I'll do waifu stream 250. And then, is this too high? Well, you guys voted for this. Kingdom, you guys said put Kingdom up there. Habanero, so if I'm 40 minutes total late, then you guys can do the Habanero thing. Video defending Usopp, that's a pain in the ass. Law cosplay. I can make some of the gaps smaller, because then that incentivizes holding out, right? In defense of Wano video, I want to put at 150. I can also put this around 150. Drop video not on One Piece, I can lower this to... Dropping a video not on One Piece is like a bigger deal, though, than waifu stream. So I think this has actually got to move up. So we can do 200 for this and then 250 for that. I think that seems fair. I think that seems fair. With the way I used to do things, then like in 3 weeks, you guys would have racked up a shit ton of points. But now I'm only late like 2 to 5 minutes at best. So you guys are in for a grind. You guys got to really wait for me to slip up. So this encourages me not slipping up. I think this is good. I think this is fair. Like sometimes I'd just be 30 minutes late to a stream. So that would be like almost all, like in a single day, I'd be almost all the way up to this one, you know? All right, we're going to get to the main topic of the stream. We're all holding all our points out for Bollywood Dance. It's not an option. There's no Bollywood Dance. It's not, you're holding out your points for nothing, right? So again, the way it works, you guys can cash in whenever. I give you a month more. You might get me to Kingdom in a month, but definitely not anything else. All right, here's the other problem. Wait, first of all, question. Does anybody know on good authority? Is like Meek here or anything like that? Does anybody know on good authority? Are we getting another chapter this month? Is anything happening? Also, let's get the stream legs up to 50 real quick. Are we getting another chapter? Are we getting another chapter? Sneeds, feed and seeds his house collabing with J.R. Murphy a penalty. A penalty is just anything I don't want to do. Generally, I don't want to do collabs outside of my own stream schedule time because that's just cutting into my free time. You see what I'm saying? But people ask for these collabs, therefore it falls into a penalty thing. Won't you hear Nami's becoming John and Elbaf? Somebody was tweeting at me about that. If you guys don't have to cash in on these options. If you guys don't think Kingdom is a penalty, then don't vote. Don't cash in on Kingdom. Just wait till the next thing. Eric Reed says you don't like Kingdom. No, I liked Kingdom. I like Kingdom, but I'm probably not going to go back and read Kingdom on my own. So people said, well, what if you just make make it a penalty on your thing, and then that'll force you to go read a chapter of Kingdom or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that works. A penalty is just anything that I otherwise would not want to do. You see what I'm saying? And I am rating it based, like, the point values are entirely based on how much I don't want to do them. So Kingdom is very low, because I'd be okay with reading Kingdom. I wouldn't mind it, you know? So that's why the point values are the way they are. It's entirely based on how much I don't want to do said thing, okay? I would even want to drop a video. I would be happy to drop a video not on One Piece, but the thing is that I don't want to fuck with... If I'm dropping a video not on One Piece... I don't want to skip the One Piece video for the week, so it would essentially be me signing up to do an additional video on top of, like, for a week on top of the One Piece video. That's a lot of work. That's why I have it labeled so far down, you know? Does that make sense? Like, I would enjoy doing it, but it would be doubling up my workload for a week, which is why I have it at the bottom. John Smith, thanks for the 2. Watch Gintama series arcs. 10 seconds of Takasugi greater than all of One Piece. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Gerard, thanks for the 5. Morge, like your theory. Why did it come out on Sunday? Why do you think the God's Knights waited 6 years to come back if it's the only Devil Fruit that they're after? We did it on Sunday just so that it clears up space a little bit for, you know, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and everything like that. Because otherwise, I mean, it's a few factors, right? On Christmas Eve, we could have dropped it on Christmas. I never really know how viewership is on Christmas. Like, you could make the argument that everybody's indoors and therefore watching videos and stuff like that, or you could make the argument that more people are going to be spending time with their families and everything and not taking time to get away to watch like a 22-minute YouTube video. So it depends. And then Christmas Eve is often a fairly hectic day, so dropping it on Tuesday is maybe not the best idea. And then, honestly, so, like, this was something I talked with my editor beforehand. The plan was actually to drop it today, Monday, but he got it done early. He got it done as of yesterday. So he was like, hey, I got it done earlier than expected. You want to just upload it now? So I was like, yeah, why not? Just upload it now. Sunday gives people some time to watch and everything before, I don't know, an early Christmas thing. I mean... Like, I want to take a couple days to not worry about the channel myself, so after this stream, I just know Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm just going to be chilling. And, you know, if we'd been getting the video out today, then I'd probably be monitoring its performance a little bit, you know, stuff like that. So I was happy to get it out a little bit earlier, early Christmas gift and everything like that for you all. So don't be expecting a video tomorrow, I'll say that. Add points daily until the Wano video drops. Oh, that's interesting. You should get a penalty for delaying the Wano video again. That's a good idea, but that's not... I'm not going to put another date on it then. It's just going to come up. You'll just see it out when it's out. All right. Again, I want to get back to the main topic, which is like, does anybody know anything about... Oh, wait, you said, why do you think the God's Knights waited 6 years to come back if it's only the Devil Fruit that they are after? I think that there's probably more at play here right now. I think that there's more at play. This time, they might have come back straight up for Luffy, to punish Luffy, because Luffy's at Elbaf. It might not be related to the Loki situation. The assassination attempt back then might have been related to that, but things might have changed since then. Jordan Vance says, you see, this is how I know we ain't getting it soon. You are... It's so close. It's so close, but so far. That's all I can say. It's so close, but so far. I do want to drop it during a longish break. I've been saying that for a little bit. We couldn't do it by Christmas, but if there's another 2-week break after this next chapter, or 1-week break after this, like if there's another break week after the next chapter, I think that's the best window to do it. Because January, generally, there's not a lot of One Piece stuff going on, so I think that's the perfect period of time to drop a big-ass Wano video. Just because January's generally... If you guys recall, there's not a lot of, like, there's Oda breaks in January, and, like, Christmas break, and, like, Golden Week break. There's, like, several breaks that happen in January, so I think that's the perfect window. Anyway, chapter. Can anybody tell me, right? I've been asking this a little bit. I don't know. I expect you guys to know. I just want to know if anybody has heard any level of news whatsoever. Are we getting something chapter-wise before December? No new chapter, even if we do get leaks. I'm saying we could get a leak chapter. I know that the official chapter is not for a bit. I'm saying that the chapters often leak a little bit early. At the end of the year. Jordan Vance is not gonna lie. I'm getting a bit sick of Oda being vague. Like, dude, this is the final saga. I want answers and hype. We are gonna get answers and hype, you know? No new chapter, even if we do get leaks. All right. So, what we're gonna do now is, let me see, y'all. Let me see. Because usually there is like a chapter of the year tier list already made, but I didn't see one ready on Tier Maker, so I'm just gonna make that as we go, and I'll answer questions in the meantime. 2024 chapters. 2024, we did not get a lot of One Piece chapters. We really did not. We did not get a ton of One Piece chapters. We got, it was, I think, 30-something chapters total. Does anyone know how many chapters we got of One Piece? It was not a lot. It was not a lot. I think what I'll just do quickly is screenshot the best moment of each little chapter. That man will make his move. Yeah, the jump. Okay, let me read this shit out in the meantime. Let me read the Jump Fest shit out. Because there's just not. He didn't give us a. And Arthur actually put up a really good thread recapping the Jump Fest shit from before, right? So let's see. Why is this shit not loading? Come on, man. The fuck? Alright. Something's not loading here. Here, let me pull up Arthur's thread so you guys can see this. Yeah. The fuck? Alright. So, if we look at this, where the fuck is this? Where is this? Here. I swear Arthur had a thread covering... Here, let me show you guys. Arthur had some thread covering, like, all the Jump Festa shit from before. Arthur is just, he may not be, like, the best translator. Oh, here we go. He may not be the best translator and shit, but he gets mad points from me for being very, the user interface with Arthur is always very good. You know, like the user experience. He always formats things very nicely. Okay? All right. 2016, this will be the year of Sanji. The members, do you guys see this shit? Okay. This will be the year of Sanji. The members who were given a break at Dressrosa will be very active. I remember, yeah, it was the year of Sanji, but I think this sort of thing just reflects how Oda's always like a little bit behind what actually ends up happening. So I think, if I recall correctly, this wasn't as much Sanji shit in this year, but it kind of started off Whole Cake Island, if I recall. I might be wrong. 2017, yeah, example. We're planning to head to Wano, blah, 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 but it took till 2018 to get to Wano, so it took longer than expected. Within 2018, we were introduced to a lurking legend. Okay, did we get the Emu chapter in this year? We probably got the Emu chapter in this year, right? So I think Emu would have been the lurking legend. They'll be the biggest enemy Luffy and others will ever face in the future. So I imagine this is Emu. Right? I think this was probably Emu. Odin. Yeah. This was pretty straightforward. Yeah, this stuff, the Saba will, Hancock will, Vivi will, this stuff didn't happen immediately. It took some time, but I think that Oda wasn't trying to say that it would happen immediately. I think what Oda meant here was basically Wano Country Saga is beginning the raid. I think he had to drop some interesting stuff in here that would be like down the line. So I don't think he was implying that it happens this year. Although technically it was all kind of happening concurrently, right? If I'm getting the timelines mixed up. Okay, so Shanks. So Film Red happened. Shanks didn't do anything till 2022. We got Gear 5th in 2022, like he said. 2023. Yeah, 2023 was a battle royale. 2023 was a battle royale year. We got a lot of crazy hype. 2024, right? Many characters have been a truly terrifying world. They should be going to that island. That island, so they get to Elbaf. Then there'll be a struggle for that thing. I think that thing is the road poneglyph. And finally, at last, it'll happen. The battle between that character and that character may lead to unexpected results. That's my question mark. Nothing like that happened this year, right? Nothing, no crazy unexpected battle that I can recall. Finally, at last, it'll happen. The battle between that character and that character. It's interesting. Wait, did I? Okay. So what was this year's message? Let's see. Okay. Finally, the manga has reached Elbaf. It seems like a chill country, but the arrival of a certain man will break that peace. So that's got to be our dude, right? That's got to be, Banks or whatever. Meanwhile, something strange will happen in the other ocean. So I'm excited about that. So 2024 will be a year of a lot of cutting around to other shit. Yeah, 2023 was insane. That man will finally begin to stir up the world. I fucking hope it's Dragon. Strap in for you won't get a chance to catch your breath again. Okay, so it sounds to me like 2025 will be very exciting. It sounds to me like 2025 will be extremely exciting. 2024, I think, more of a transition year between Egghead to, our other shit. So, makes sense. I think 2025 will be a pretty roller coaster sort of 2023-esque year for One Piece. Yeah, what do we like? Do we like stabs? What's our thing? What do we call evil Shanks? Banks, Shiv, stabs. I like Banks. Banks is my pick. I would like to roll with Banks. For some reason, my usual site for pulling images of the manga is not working at the moment. That's disappointing. What the hell's going on? What the fuck? Alright, we gotta find another thing. Read One Piece chapter 1103 online. Fuck, now I gotta use some jank-ass site. I like my site. Fuck, man. Okay. Here, let me show you guys what I'm looking at. So, I'm just gonna pull an image from each chapter real quick. Alright? An image that helps us represent each chapter so that you guys can understand what's going on in each chapter. Hold on, let me just make sure I got everything set up. Fake Linskov, thanks a lot. Last chapter funny. This isn't Warland, this is Wokeland. Yeah. The Blue Ogre definitely won. Men used to go to war and read Kingdom and watch Kaiji. How's Sakamoto? It's first couple chapters feel filler, but then peak start. Okay, it's funny you said that because I've been reading Sakamoto a little bit, and the first couple chapters I thought kind of were not good. I did not think the first couple chapters were good. In fact, the first couple chapters, like, if people had not told me that that Sakamoto Days is like a good manga, I would have probably dropped it. People are going with stabs? Stabs? I'm going with Banks. I don't care. The poll was just for show. I'm going with what I wanted to do. All right? We're not going with stabs. Stabs is ridiculous. If his name is actually Stabs, then it is what it is, but we're not going with that. Stabs, bro, no. I like Banks. Danks, that also works. Okay. First few chapters of Sakamoto Days, I'm not gonna lie, they were ass. Like, they were generally the most throwaway chapters one could possibly imagine. They were funny. I'd say that. They were funny, but I was just like, it's funny, but like, the ideas felt very generic in terms of, how do I say this? Like, it just felt like, his relationship with his wife or whatever, the little flashbacks that characters have. It felt very, very generic. It felt very generic. I was kind of just like, I don't know. And it also feels very, very John Wick in terms of, like, just ripping off the John Wick concept. The action sequences were good, so I like that. But it just felt very, I don't know, whatever. But it was funny. It was like moderately funny. However, then, this is a refresher, everybody, by the way, so that you all can see basically, what's the the deal. Also, people are saying blue hair Banks and stuff like that. I think I'm supposed to do the images a bit more cropped like this. I forget. So what's interesting is that if his hair is also red, so a translator named Jasser, you guys might have heard of him. He's on Twitter and stuff like that. He was telling me that Touched by Flames, and this is something I talk about in my podcast as well. Marked by Flames can mean a variety of things. It could mean burn scars, but it could also mean it could also just refer to red hair. It could also refer to red hair, because Shanks' red hair is a defining characteristic of him, you know? So if similarly the red hair of this dude is a defining characteristic of him, then that could make sense with him being called the man marked by flames. Let's get the stream likes up to 50 real quick. All right, guys. So this is an example. This is chapter 1105. This is an example of a chapter that I guess I should get the title cards of them, right? I should get the title cards because that's the easiest way. Because then how else are we going to... You guys won't know which chapter's which, right? So I got to get the title cards, but the title cards don't really communicate that much. Should I do the title cards or should I do like an iconic image from each chapter? I guess I just do... What should I do? I'll just do iconic image from each chapter. We'll do that. There's no iconic images from 1105 though, as far as I can tell. There's no iconic images. This chapter's kind of filler. This is the image that Oda put the most effort into, is what it looks like. There's literally nothing here. I don't fucking know. Okay, if there's nothing there, I'll just do chapter 1105. There we go. Chapter 1105. There we go. All right. Oh, you know what? And I can even draw on it. I could draw 11. Oh, there we go. So I'll do stuff like that. I'll do stuff like that for these. That's an easy way to do it. All right. 1106 on your side. Easy iconic visual for this would probably be, I don't know, the pacifista fucking... I forgot Vegapunk dies like 5 times in this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. This is a good one. Yeah, I'll do an iconic page, and I'll draw some text. I'll say this is, what? Is this 1106? Yeah. So I'll just say, yeah, 06. There we go. Hope it saves with my drawing on it. 1107. Sabo definitely is a hockey master. I agree. So if people want to scale Sabo based off of, like, hypothetically how much he's grown, that's okay. But I feel like people scale Sabo based on what we last saw of him. And what we last saw of him is below... It is clearly below... It's below every Yonko first mate, except maybe Katakuri, and definitely below Kid and Law. Like, based on what we last saw of him, you know what I mean? Like, last saw of him, there's not much. Because what we last saw of him is he, like, beats Burgess. I could make Zoro versus Lucci the image of this. He beats Burgess, but honestly, it takes him longer to beat Burgess than it should. By a good shot. It takes him longer to beat Burgess than it should. Oh, here we go. This is a good image. Takes him longer to beat Burgess than he should. And then he's again fighting Burgess during, like, the final... wait, let me draw. Yeah, he's again fighting Burgess in, like, round 2. And then his final matchup... Or no, he also fights Fujitora, right? But he fights Fujitora when Fujitora is holding back and Sabo's still getting pushed. So that basically puts him, like, the same as Morley. You know? Sabo has the same feats as Morley. William says Sabo's biggest feat is escaping the Gorosei. but I mean, that'd be relevant if it's like a race, like if we're debating like who's the best like escape artist, but we're not. We're talking about like who's the best. Like Sabo doesn't. There's no combat feat there. He's not fighting the Gorosei. He's running away from the Gorosei, right? If anything, it kind of looks bad that Sabo like he throws some attacks. They're not effective against Imu and the Gorosei, and people are like, well, was Sabo supposed to solo all of them? It's like, no, he wasn't supposed to solo all of them, but clearly he can't do anything to any of them, and like that's basically it. So it's not like a feat one way or another. He just gets away, and he gets away largely because Cobra sacrifices himself. So that's pretty much it. Like there's nothing. Like, what's the feat there? Like, are we saying that Sabo's like faster than Venus Jura or something like that? Because we know that's not the case. Are we saying like it's just like he ran away thanks to Cobra dying? There's nothing more to say about it, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, well, Sabo ran away from the Gorosei. Is that a better feat, or like Zoro actually stalling Venus Jura for a while or something, right? Like, what's a better? Like, I think you'd want if you're scaling based off like ability to like run away, then that's a discussion. Let me try using this highlight thing. How does that change things? This is 08, right? Nah, I prefer the red. Horrendous 8. Okay. Use the last page of 1106. Wow, what's the last page of 1106? Alright, let me see. Let's see. What's the last page of 1106? I don't like looking back. I only want to look forward. What's the last page of 1106? Dory and Brogy arriving? No, I think this is more memorable than this. I don't think this matters. I mean, like, it's cool. I think this is the image that people resonate more with 1106. California Penguin says Cobra did nothing to slow Venus down. I mean, like, this is the reaches here are just insane. It's just like, what is your feat? Like, what is the feat that you're trying to push for Sabo? Like, what does this say? Like, are you trying to say that Sabo could escape, like, Kid or Law or Zoro, if he wanted to? I'm sure he probably could. I agree that Sabo could probably escape. Like, is that your argument? Like, Sabo can escape? That's totally fine. I'm not gonna dispute that. I do agree Sabo could, based on the Gorosei situation, he could escape them. So if that's your discussion, like if that's your argument, we don't have an argument really. If you want to say like fighting, like, oh, can Sabo fight any of these characters? It's like, no, his combat feats are basically Morley level. I keep forgetting to do this shit. Objectively, it's the same as Morley, right? What did Sabo do in terms of combat that puts him above Morley? That's more impressive than what Morley did. I'm not saying Sabo's equal to Morley. I'm just saying that objectively, his feats are the same as Morley, right? Objectively. Fighting like an admiral when the admiral's not trying. Virgil Hawkins says he's the Flame Emperor. Morge, you don't get it? I mean, and Scratchman Apu is the Roar of the Sea. What do you want me to do with this information? I totally get the argument that like Sabo might have gotten stronger, right? If you're saying that he's been training, because Oda even said that Sabo's been training. So if you want to argue that like the new version of Sabo that we get might be a lot stronger than what we saw before, I'm on board with that. I'm like, okay, that's an argument, right? That's a discussion. But if you want to argue based on feats, Sabo has no feats comparable to even like, I think like, I guess feat wise, he'd probably be above Sanji at the moment. That's what I got him at, in terms of feats. Rainier Wakura says he went on a 5-minute rant about a character no one asked about. Lol, elite hater. I mean, people brought him up. I'm just saying, people brought him up. I saw his name show up. William says, where do you think that the narrative is going to take Sabo? Okay, so what's interesting is that I think I've had some potential realizations that suddenly put, like, I feel like with this latest chapter, how to explain this? I had, like, an epiphany that I think truly just puts, for me, all of the finale of One Piece into perspective, I think, in terms of matchups. I think nobody else, I think, I might be exaggerating here, but it all makes so much sense, it's kind of insane. I'm very excited to put this video out. It's a very, very interesting video. I don't even know what the fuck to put here. It's just fucking Walkyrie yelling or some shit. Might just be Walkyrie yelling. Maybe it's Luffy with the baseball bat. I think people like this panel, right? Luffy with the baseball bat. No, I swear somebody mentioned Sabo. I'm not making that up. Someone mentioned Sabo for real. He was mentioned. I think that... How do I say this? Yeah, I think that I have a new perspective on the way that the matchups shake out that suddenly makes a lot more sense to me. I can also see where Sabo fits in terms of getting a good matchup. I think something suddenly makes a lot of sense to me, and I'd be very happy to share it with everybody. I'm very excited for this video. It's going to be a giant-ass video. It's going to be a giant-ass video. Nothing happens in this chapter, really. I guess this was the most notable moment. Luffy hitting with this. I remember people talked about this, right? Nothing, like, that's pretty much it. Is this the best thing to use for this? Nothing really happens this chapter. I'm just processing that we're about to go through like a shit ton of chapters that are just Vegapunk speech. Damian Wright, thanks for being a Pirate King to your member for 16 months, man. Sabo gets wanked because people want him to fight Akainu instead of Luffy. The thing is that, like, yeah, if you're on the train of Sabo's gonna fight Akainu, I think there's just two trains. Like, either you think that Sabo's in the story to beat Akainu, or you're like me, who thinks that Sabo exists so that Luffy can save him from Akainu and redeem himself from the Ace situation. I truly believe that Sabo is more important for Luffy's existence than for anything else, personally. I think that... and if you think that Sabo's exists to be... Not exists to be... I don't think he literally... I think he's going to get important shit as well. But I don't think he's beating Akainu. So, like, I think people who think that he's going to beat Akainu just have a very... Yeah, that's just the thing with Sabo. It's at the end of the day, it's like, what is the true purpose of him in the story, right? Because it's kind of like, if people think that Kobe is supposed to be a rival for Luffy by the end of the story, then that's one thing, right? If you think Sabo's supposed to be this man, right? Then that's a totally other different thing, right? Or, sorry, just getting them mixed up. But, like, oh, here's the Mother Flame panel. Yeah, if you think Kobe's supposed to be a rival for Luffy by the end of the story, then you're going to view him one way. If you think that Kobe's going to be a rival for Luffy, like, maybe later out down the line, like in the epilogue, then that's a totally different perception of Kobe, right? Let me get through these a little bit faster. Did you include 1104? Maybe not. Let's take a look. This is 1103, this is 1104. They're just, like, not labeled. Because I started labeling, it looks like, around here. Yeah. Where am I at? Wait, Turner says Luffy did save Ace. Ace got killed himself. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like, Ace had to protect Luffy. That's like, obviously Ace brought it upon them, but that's essentially like the final thing. Like, Luffy was too weak at the end of the day. This is just more info. I don't know what the defining aspect of this chapter is. I'll do this shot. I think this is a shot that people... this chapter actually was very revelatory. This chapter basically revealed that the One Piece world is at the bottom of the ocean. This is an important chapter. Virgil Hawkins, thanks for a Pirate King tier member for 27 months. No one mentioned Sabo. You misread someone. Rain Awakura saying stabs the hockey master. Oh my god. Is that what they said? Personally couldn't care less about Sabo's story. Just got Ace. Plus get back to Haikyuu. It only gets better. I don't know if I'm getting back to Haikyuu, man. I don't know. You guys want to know what's... Okay. Here, let me tell you where I'm at, okay? Oh, I was talking about Sakamoto Days, and I was kind of shit-talking it. But I got to the point where it seems like the plot actually kicks off. I'm about 6 chapters in, maybe 7 or something. And now I'm interested, but it does seem like a John Wick ripoff scenario, right? So can somebody tell me, like, is Sakamoto Days, does it turn into something that's more than, like, a John Wick ripoff, or is the fun that it's a John Wick ripoff? Can anyone answer that? Does it stay a John Wick ripoff, or is it supposed to be more than a John Wick ripoff? Like, is there some cool aspects to it? You know what I mean? Sakamoto Days fans? Beyond that, I can tell you the other series that I'm... This chapter, I don't fucking know what the fuck is happening. I don't fucking know shit about this chapter. There's just... okay, let me... I'll do Vegapunk bowing. Here, how about this? How about this? Vegapunk bowing. It's more... Like, there's a story that's interesting to it. It's not just, like... I don't need it to be, like the next One Piece or something, but, like... I don't think I'll have fun if I'm just reading another... Like, if I'm just reading whatever. JWP, thanks for the 5. Yo, Moj, I'm on vacation for Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope you're having a great holidays, man. Thanks, as usual, for coming through, and thanks for the support. Yeah, this is more... This shit... Oh, so maybe this is good. Anything else cool happen this chapter? Oh, yeah, they all jump Emeth. I think them jumping Emeth is a cool highlight. Or Zoro clashing with him. Maybe jumping Emeth. I think this was a memorable panel. People talk about this panel. JWP, thanks for gifting the good people of chat a membership, even while on vacation. I really appreciate it, man. As do the people of chat. Yeah, but Sakamoto Days, I think where it's at right now, I thought was interesting. So I was like, okay, maybe this will, maybe it'll pick up from here. And then that's where I left off last night. So I'm definitely interested. I thought the action was well done. I thought the action scenes were well done, for what little action scenes I've seen so far. The other thing I'll say, you know what else I started? I started watching Fate. I started watching the Fate series. I picked up Fate, like, if you guys recall, like, months back. Not fake news. Say thanks to JWP for getting your membership. I picked up Fate, like, just months and months back. Like, earlier in the year, I picked up Fate. And the fucking beginning of Fate is... Unlimited Blade Works, for the record. Unlimited Blade Works. Are people saying no to Fate? What's wrong with Fate? What's wrong with Fate? Uwu, thanks for the 20. Morge and all of you reading this, check the telepathy tapes on Spotify to see scientific proof for real-life telepathy we can all learn. Uwu, as usual, coming through with the guaranteed, undeniable, very, very real, and proven scientific facts to help enlighten the rest of us. Was it just, maybe Fate shit is so ass? I've heard it has good action, though. And I think right now I want an anime that has good action. I think I liked the action towards the beginning that we've gotten so far. I think I like the action. It's a little bit too much like... I think, like, when they swing their swords and their weapons, it looks a bit too much just like just color. Like, color moving. Like, I don't think the action is very clear. I know it's by the same people that do Demon Slayer, so I was hoping for comparable animation, and maybe it gets there. But right now, I find Demon Slayer's animation to be better. I find it clear. Like, it's got similar colorful shit, but I find it to be visually clearer. Fate is unsatisfying as fuck. It's just not good. Fate is peak. I'm seeing a lot of different... yeah, I'm seeing a lot of different opinions. I just want... Like, I like Demon Slayer's animation a lot. I just wanted to get some good action anime. So I was looking up action anime, like series with good, fights and stuff like that. And from ones I haven't seen, there's like Mob Psycho, but I'm not interested in telekinesis shit. Oh, this was a good chapter. I'm not interested in telekinesis shit. There was the Atlas sacrifice. Oh, I forgot this dude. Everyone forgets. Emmet did actually hurt Warkiri, I remember. Hold on one sec. Let me catch these. I think Vegapunk's flashback is the important part of this shit. I think it's Vegapunk's flashback, so I'll include Clover. Yeah, I'll include this Clover shot because I think that speaks to Vegapunk's flashback. Bro, watch Mob. People are saying Mob Psycho is amazing, but it's about telekinesis and stuff. That's just not interesting. Like, I don't find that a fun ability. Also, I've heard it's similar in concept to One Punch Man, so I'm like, I don't need to be watching 2 One Punch Man shows, you know? I'm excited about One Punch Man Season 3 coming out, though. That's gonna be a banger. JWP, thanks for the 10. Also, I showed up late, but for reference, what's the first chapter of the year? I believe 1103 was the first chapter of the year. We fit 1102 into our 2023 ranking, so we're rolling with 1103 as the first of the year. And Sakamoto Days does get good, but it's mostly action. Watch Fate Zero, that's what you're supposed to start, and it's the best. I have read many, many Reddit threads breaking down the correct watch order. Pretty much, almost unanimously, 90% of people break down the watch order as being Unlimited Blade Works, then Heaven's Feel, then Zero. I have heard everyone say, or general consensus be, that Zero is the best. But I've heard that you want to start with Unlimited Blade Works, then Heaven's Feel, then Zero. That's just the regular watch order that I see people put out there. That's generally what I'm seeing put out there. Can anyone contest this? Tony69, thanks for the 6. Do you think Shanks using a summoning circle to arrive in Marineford so quickly? Or maybe it wasn't Shanks that was fighting Kaido, but his brother? The Shanks' brother fighting Kaido is very interesting as a possibility. That's a very, very interesting possibility. Here's the thing, though. Kaido in his vision, he sees Shanks with, like, the scars and everything, right? So wouldn't that be kind of weird? Like, he imagines Shanks as this warrior who has scars. The 3 scars, right? So Shanks' brother, I imagine, wouldn't have those 3 scars. So isn't that a little inconsistent? Why? Why should I watch Mob is so much better than One Punch Man? But isn't it just the same concept? Isn't it just the same thing? Can everyone tell me how Mob is different than One Punch Man? Far better than One Punch Man. Isn't it just the same thing? Which is like, okay, can anyone tell me if this is correct or not? Is the main character of Mob Psycho overpowered and super strong? Like, is he very powerful? Is he a super powerful character? Is that the concept? JLP says Mob focuses more on the actual character writing. Well, what I'm saying is I want some action. I just want some action. You know, I want some good-ass action. Okay, is it? Can you guys answer? Fake Lynn says yes, but it's not the same. Yes, but that's not the main point to Stormy. Fading Face says he's strong, but that's not... Okay. Saitama doesn't change more to Mob as character. No, but I'm saying... that's not the issue. I'm just saying, like, is it the same concept, which is it's about a overpowered character? Is it the same concept? Can anybody answer yes or no? It sounds like people are saying yes. It sounds like people are saying yes, that it is about an overpowered character. Is it just One Punch Man, but with, like, better writing? Is that what you guys are saying? Is it just One Punch Man, but with good character writing around the hero? Is that the concept of it? Carson Cock, thanks for the 2. Just joined. Did you talk about Nolan movie Odyssey? I saw it, and I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to see that. That sounds like I'm excited as fuck to see that. Nolan can be hit or miss for me, but all of his films are very well made. And, like, he makes great movies at the end of the day. The reason I'm excited for the Odyssey is because he's a phenomenal filmmaker. I think sometimes the storytelling or, like, the story's telling is, like, a little bit... Maybe not, I don't know. Like, I didn't think Tenet was that strong of a story. I thought Dunkirk was phenomenal, but I think Interstellar, phenomenal filmmaking. I don't think the story or the writing was that good. Obviously, the scene where he's seeing his daughter's birthdays and shit, that's very sad. But I'm saying as a whole, I don't think the story and the writing was that great. Odyssey is... Oh, yeah, we got Justin Holland coming in 5 minutes, so let's get the tier list set up before we get him on. Yeah, Odyssey is a story that's already written. So it's adapting a story that's already phenomenal, right? Like an all-time great classic. So I think his filmmaking strengths will just get to shine there, you know? We read the Odyssey. I read the Odyssey in middle school, actually. And there's a shit ton of good-ass stuff to draw in there. I think, like, it's one of those old-school stories that you, like, put into today's it doesn't feel like an old ass story, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the ideas and the heaviness that comes along the way, I think it feels more feels like it could work today as well. What am I looking at here? What's in this chapter? Yeah, it's adapting the Odyssey, like the Odyssey, like the famous epic. Caleb Cool Guy, thanks for bringing Yonko Chairman for 20 months. Hello, Mork. Have you been up to date on Dandadan? Mob Psycho is awesome. You will like it. I'm up to date as in we have seen the latest episode. We have seen the latest episode, yeah. Liking it so far. I think we're still at the finale part coming up. This is the chapter where Vegapunk basically, his whole plan comes together, right? So let's just, I guess this, yeah. Yeah. This is, I guess this kind of... Is this the best way to showcase Vegapunk's plan? I don't know. I don't know if there's an easy panel to showcase Vegapunk's plan. Alright, we'll just roll with this. This is what? 23. Alright. The Odyssey is timeless. I mean, I think there's some stories that like are not timeless. Like I think Beowulf is a hard thing to adapt today because it's more so just like covering his life. Like sometimes like old school stories are just like stories that they're coming up with new shit as it goes along or whatever, and it's important because it's old and iconic. But the Odyssey is legitimately like I think the Odyssey, a lot of the ideas and overall concept of the journey still really holds up. I think that one's an easy chapter. Anyway, I just can't watch Mob Psycho because it just sounds like One Punch Man with better writing, which I'm sure it has better writing because One Punch Man's writing is just like whatever. But at the end of the day, it has psychic powers, and it's just the same concept, right? Which is just strong, overpowered character, right? Strong, overpowered character, some shit to do with him. And I don't know, some struggles that he faces being a strong, overpowered, I don't know. I've only got room for reading one story about like a super OP main character that can beat everybody without trouble, you know? And the difference is that this one is through psychic abilities, which to me are boring. You see what I'm saying? Maybe we can make that a penalty. I have to read a chapter of like Mob Psycho or something like that. This chapter, the main thing was the Shanks situation, right? Yeah, let's do that. Justin, gotta get you in a second. All right. All right. Justin, just hold on one second. Pachinto says, Jesus, bro, you've never seen what's with that. I'm just trying to understand. Is it not, okay, you guys said it's about an overpowered character, right? It's about an overpowered character? That's my understanding. It's about some overpowered character. I've already got one of those. I've got One Punch Man. You know, I don't think I was sitting around being like, I want a better One Punch Man. I'm just like, well, the concept's already there, you know? Justin, give me 1 second. Let me speed through this stuff. Remixing thanks to reread Pokemon Adventures arc as punishment. That would be quite the punishment, having to reread that shit. That would be quite the punishment. That would be a phenomenal punishment. Yeah, I should just let Justin in. I'll just do this as I go. Come on, man. All right. 8 o'clock on the dot. All right. All right, we got that down. Fort Wardner says it's still a similar story, just similar tropes. It's still a different story, just similar tropes. Justin's here. All right, guys. For those of you who don't know, we are having our guest appearance from Justin. Hey, man, what's going on? Do you mind? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hey, Justin. Hello? Can you hear me? Hey, man. Hello? All right, Justin. Can you hear me? I don't think we can do this one. Can you hear me? All right. All right, I'll just wait for this message. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Justin. Okay. I'm happy to see you, man, but you got to put on a shirt for this. You got to put on clothes for this.
Stop. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all good, man.
Yeah.
Just let me know whenever you're good. In the meantime, let me just do this real quick. All right.
So how's your holiday been so far?
Good. How about you? How's your holiday been? Guys, can you all hear him?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear Justin okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the main part of this 29 chapter is Roto being defeated. All right. Yeah, and after this call, we'll be starting the tier list. So we're going to do a 10-minute call with Justin, and then we're doing our tier list. For those of you who don't know, the calls, if you're interested in hopping on stream yourself, you can get the premium version of the poster bundle, but you can also get the posters individually or with the mix and match bundles, however you feel like it. All right, man. Yeah, thanks for doing that. All right.
So what to talk about? The Loki. That was a surprise. Bring out the Loki may not be the real the real killer. I mean, I feel like there's some real credential behind it too, because I'm considering how it's all too. I feel like there's some real potential behind that one, because like you said, Luffy is really good. Luffy is really good at reading people. I mean, the only time someone's ever really caught off guard was with what was his name? Kanjuro, and that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Luffy did get fooled by Kanjuro. I was gonna say there's only yeah.
That only happened because his guy that was only because that was only happened because after what happened to his parents, he was all kinds of messed up, right?
Yeah, I mean Kanjuro. You could argue that Kanjuro was he was so void. Like he became. From his childhood, he's even portrayed as just like this amorphous blob. Like it's almost as though there is no real Kanjuro. Almost like he becomes whatever you need him to be. I think an interesting comparison is like Pudding, right? So Luffy got fooled by Pudding initially in Whole Cake Island, but what's interesting is that Pudding actually did turn out to be a relatively good character, right? So he he got fooled by her, but at the same time, he didn't because he was correct in thinking that she's a good person. He just, he didn't fully. It just took a bit of a switching back and forth for him to have that realization.
It's like he could tell who they truly are deep down. It's like he can't truly get a grasp of people who are sort of at war with themselves,
Yeah.
Or, he can't tell. It's like he tell if he sort of sense that, man, maybe we should talk about people. Maybe that should be one of your videos. Maybe like he can't get a read on someone if they're too busy. You can't even get a more. Man,
Yeah, they don't even know who they are. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea. What was also interesting is that, like, I was trying to think back if there's any sort of introduction Luffy's had to another character that seems similar to how he got along with Loki. I don't really think so. Because, like, even if you look at, like, Luffy and Blackbeard when they first met, even though it felt like they're similar in some ways, with them being so excited about, like, the meat versus the cherry pies and stuff like that, what's funny is that they disagreed at every single moment of it. So, like, they fought on every little thing. So, like, even though they are similar in personality in some ways, it was shown that he clashes with him directly. Luffy only really clashed with Loki because Loki badmouthed Shanks, and I think we're going to find out the reason, because I really do think that, like, I think that the Gods Knights were the ones that actually ended up killing King Harold. To me, that makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah. And about
Yeah.
No, something else. Man, it's.
You got something else?
I feel like something, but it's. I just try to go off what I think.
No worries, man. Do you have a favorite chapter of the year, by the way? Like, what's your?
Honestly. Frankly, it was when all five Gorosei came together before Luffy.
Yeah.
On one hand, it represents the challenge being basically here on out. On the other hand, it got to we think about it. It represents how far Luffy has come.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that was because we're trying to figure out the thumbnail for this video, and like we were going back and forth on like the Gorosei appearing, if that should be the thumbnail for this video or not. But then I think we decided against it because like I think a lot of people were not as excited by like how the Gorosei actually like did on Egghead. You know what I mean? So some of the hype I feel like died for some people based off of that. I don't know. I think it depends person to person, though. Like a lot of people, I still think that's like one of the coolest spreads that that Oda has done in general. Like I think that's one of the coolest. The all five Gorosei in zone form. I think that was phenomenal. I thought that was phenomenal. Was that what? Do you have a favorite moment of the year? Because I think my favorite personal moment of the year might have been either the Gorosei, I think the impact of the Gorosei all showing up, or maybe Joy Boy's Haki. I think Joy Boy's Haki was a really cool moment. I also think Figarlin Garling turning into, Figarlin Garling doing his thing was pretty cool. Like him becoming a Gorosei.
Take it. Honestly, I don't know if it was this year or maybe last year, but was it this year or last year? But what about was it maybe Luffy taking was it holding York hostage?
Oh yeah, I think that was chapter 1180 or 1089 actually. That was a good chapter. That was definitely a really good chapter. That was cool.
Was that?
Yeah.
That was this year or last? Was that this year or last?
That was last year. This year we did not get a lot of chapters. This year actually we only got from 1103 to 1134. So we only got 31 chapters. That's kind of insane to think about. right? That's
Right.
yeah, that's actually really that's kind of a record. Damn, man.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to get off for the people? Any final thoughts?
I think that's the only. Honestly, okay. Mm, that wow. All right, talk. All right, talk. I get the only more when he the fight. The best more I can think of is we grabbed Sarah and Cesaro at the same time. That's all I can think of.
We saw what?
Grabbing Cesaro and Sarah at the same time. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was pretty sick. Yeah, Egghead was a good arc. I think Elbaf is set to be like even more action centric based on everything Oda's kind of hyping it up so far to be. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, come on. It's probably one of his babies, to be honest.
Yeah, Elbaf. I think it's probably one that he's been looking forward to drawing the most just because of how much he's been talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming on as usual. Seriously, thanks so much, man. Always good to have you. Appreciate the long time support, man. And yeah, thanks for coming through. Yeah. Talk to you later, man. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So, shouts in the chat for Justin. He's always down to come on stream. Let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick so that we can get the tier list started. So, I have written out for a lot of these. Oh, they didn't come out in order. Why didn't they pop up in order? That's a little annoying. That's annoying. They should be in order. I prefer it if they're in order. I gotta do this myself. I mean, it's not hard, but would have been nice. Would have been nice. Yeah, right now we've got pretty much, I think, only 31 chapters for the year, which is, I think this might be a record low ever since One Piece first started coming out. So I'm curious if this pace of release continues for next year. We're going to be going through in order, so even if you're having trouble, like the text is more so for me to remember. But we're going to be going in order, so it should be easy to figure out as we go. 34. This was 33. 18, 16. Yeah. Ah, shit, I forgot to write the chapter number for this one. I think I remember it, though. 23. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the... Not worried, but just the pace of release has dipped so far. I do think that part of it is a result of working on the One Piece live action, so hopefully in years that he doesn't have to do the live action... And he did get sick. I mean, when you're sick, you're sick. There's not much to be done. But I am curious. I'm curious how Oda manages this going forward, if there's any changes that we're going to end up seeing One Piece-wise in terms of, like, production overall. Because he's in the home stretch of the story, technically speaking. But the home stretch is also just like for One Piece's home stretch is just, like, it can mean so many things. Like, One Piece's home stretch is, I feel like, the same length as a whole other manga, if we're being honest. This is 18, 19, 20, 24, 26, 29, 33, this is 28, yeah. I think this is around here. Yeah. 30, 31. Okay, we pretty much got it. What is this, 27? Yeah, this is 27. It's 10. Alright, so we got chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, 7, 8, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is 21. Is it 21? Where's 22? 27, 28, 29. I might have skipped one. 30, 31. Oh, here's 21. Yeah, 20, 21, 22, 31, 32, 34. There we go. All right, good shit. All right, everybody. All right. Okay. Elbaf is moving super fast. I don't know about that. Is Elbaf moving? I don't know if Elbaf's moving super fast, because Elbaf, I feel like Elbaf we're in for, I think we're here till 1200. I think 1200 might be the cutoff. I think just for symmetry, I kind of want to label 33, 4, and 5. Nah, we'll forget it. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it. Okay. All right. Okay. I was skimming through the chapters of this year. I think we have fewer, like, top tier chapters this year than past years. Also, let's get to the stream likes to 100 real quick so we can begin. Virgil Hawkins says, and if Oda has to keep taking breaks, it'll be a while. Depend on what Banks is going to do. Yeah, I just wonder I wonder if we're going to hit, like, because before it used to be normal to get 3 chapters and a break, and it would be the exception if we didn't get, like, if something went off and, like, we got a break earlier than expected. But now, the norm is almost like it's rare to get 3 chapters in a row, right? It's rare to get 3 chapters in a row. Depends on what Banks is going to do. Red Agrits, this probably won't happen, but he should get his assistants to do more drawing. Yeah, at the end of the day, we care more about the story for One Piece than anything else. I think most of us, at the very least, like some people, maybe the story is the most, or the art is the most important part, but I think most people care more about the story of One Piece than anything else. And I think at the end of the day, I do think Oda has a relatively imitatable art style relative to some of his other, like some other mangaka. Okay, so kicking off. Here, let me pull up. Hopefully this site is working now. That'd be nice. But it was taking a while to load earlier. Might not just have to do. Yeah, so kicking off with 1103. We can do a light skim of all of these chapters, just so we're being super fair with everything. I thought that this is a solid chapter. Oh, is this the chapter that the punch happens? No, this is the chapter that the protection happens. Right, so this is the chapter that... These 2 chapters were good together. I think they were good chapters together. Right, they were good chapters together. I think that this was a solid... This might have been an A chapter. This is probably... I think this was an S chapter, the Kuma Punch. I think the Kuma Punch is one of the better moments in the story. Kevin says, end of Egghead was such a slog, LMAO. I think that it was exciting in bursts. I think we just didn't... It's tricky because Egghead's finale was... You know what's interesting? Here's what's interesting, okay? Egghead's finale was... there's only one One Piece arc that has been similar to Egghead's finale. There's only one One Piece arc, okay? Because most One Piece arcs follow a fairly... like a template that we know, where it's basically like you get through the setup phase, etc., the conflict, and then you're heading into a final battle where you know Luffy is going to fight the final boss, and the Straw Hats are going to fight the subordinates, right? It's the same shit. Arlong Park, Alabasta, Enies Lobby, Skypiea, it's just the same shit, right? Like Dressrosa, Fishman Island, Wano, right? We all know like how the arc is going to end in these major arcs, right? Then there are side arcs where it's kind of like Luffy still fights the big bad guy at the end, but maybe the rest of the Straw Hats don't get as much action, right? Like a Baratier, or like Drum Kingdom, or like I don't know, like Jaya or something like that. It still is going to end with Luffy defeating a big bad guy, right? If it's a smaller arc, then the other Straw Hats aren't really getting fights. Bigger arcs, every arc is Luffy defeating the big bad. Smaller arcs, it's just him defeating the big bad, or maybe 1 or 2 other Straw Hats get fights. Big arcs, all the Straw Hats get fights, right? The only 2 arcs that really threw things off were Whole Cake Island and Egghead. And interestingly, those are the 2... Yeah. I don't count Sabaody, Marineford, etc. Those are lost storylines, which One Piece generally doesn't have. Those are like... The whole Marineford saga is just an exception to the general templates of One Piece, right? I'm talking the storylines that are like Straw Hat victories, right? So in Whole Cake Island, again, like the big bad of the arc was Big Mom. Luffy did end up getting a fight, but it was a surprise fight. Like, it seemed as though the climax of the arc was the Tea Party, But then everyone was kind of shocked when the climax turned out to, like, that just turned out to be, like, getting the ball rolling, right? In fact, a lot of readers, after that bomb went off at the Tea Party, a lot of readers were happy with the arc. I remember, I myself included, like, if you go back in Reddit threads and, like, just discussions and everything like that, everyone was like, that was a solid arc. Like, that was a good-ass arc. Okay, I guess we're out of here. We're gone. They're saying bye to Capone Beige, etc. And then the Big Mom hunger pangs start. And then that's when we begin to understand that, like, wait, there's a whole other section to this arc related to creating a wedding cake. And then Luffy's fighting Katakuri, and there's this new meetup point at, Cacao Island and everything like that. And that's when you realize that there's this whole other section of the arc. And then so that's like the first storyline where Oda kind of like hard deviates from his usual formula for ending storylines, right? There's nothing else really like that one because you're just in it. A lot of people didn't know because it was so different from the norm. There was a lot of debates around that point in time if Luffy is supposed to beat Katakuri or not. A lot of people were just like, oh, this is supposed to be training. He's supposed to get stronger over the course of this fight or something like that, and maybe Katakuri's going to befriend him or something, or maybe he's going to escape, or is Luffy supposed to lose here? Like, it was people didn't know. Like, people didn't know what's supposed to happen. Luffy versus Katakuri was just a surprise matchup. There was no prior setup to it. They'd barely exchanged any sort of interactions. Luffy and Big Mom was the rising conflict throughout the arc. Katakuri is introduced very late. It was a very welcome matchup. But it was just so new that nobody really knew what, it's a matchup that nobody had on the books, right? In fact, if you recall, a lot of people at that point in time believed that Katakuri was set to be a Sanji matchup for later down the line in the story. Like, a lot of people thought that when it's time for them to face Big Mom again, it'll be Sanji versus Katakuri. A lot of people put a lot of stock in the Jelly Bean incident. Anyway, so Whole Cake Island, really, really out of left field. And I think it's because Oda stepped outside of his comfort zone that it wasn't as clean of a finish as usual, because like when Oda writes his usual arcs, he knows how to wrap it and put a bow on it, right? He knows what's happening. He's like, the Strats are fighting these bad guys. They're going to beat the bad guys. Probably some sort of ticking time bomb. And then Luffy beats the main bad guy. With this, everything was concurrent. It was like, okay, Sanji's going to be making a cake over here. And I don't think Oda found a ton of ways to make the cake baking situation that exciting, because ultimately it's cool scenes of Sanji making the cake, but like maybe the one thing that happened was like Oven showed up that one time. That was kind of good, but like he's making the cake and stuff like that. That's happening. And then the other Strats are escaping Big Mom. And like with the escape situation, I think one of the reasons that it began to drag for some people, like the Strats escaping, is because there's not a lot of clarity as to an end in sight. It's kind of just like each chapter there's something new, like, oh, there's a big tidal wave, like, oh, there's a blockade, so now the Sulong thing is going to deal with the blockade, like, okay, now Big Mom's back, but she's on board and stuff like that. Okay, they're past that, but now there's some new bullshit. Like, whereas with most arc finales, you know how shit's going down. Like, it's basically just like, okay, the Straw Hats, like, Zoro's fighting his guy, Sanji's fighting his guy, Nami's fighting whoever, Usopp's whatever. Like, you see the lineup of the matchups or whatever, and so there's some more conclusiveness to everything that's happening. Whereas I think with the Whole Cake Island situation, it was unclear. It was just like, they're just sailing, and shit's happening to them as they're sailing. But in general, we kind of know that none of these are, like, the end of the line, because we've got like to meet Luffy at a Cacao Island at like 12 o'clock or something, like a certain time. So that's Sanji stuff is happening. The Strats are sailing. I think the most exciting part of it all was definitely Luffy versus Katakuri, but you're cutting between so many things, so you don't get to focus consistently on Luffy versus Katakuri. So it was just and the way Luffy versus Katakuri ended was also very, very different than most One Piece arcs. So long way of saying is that like Whole Cake Island was the first arc that I think it was a traditional Strats defeat the bad guys arc that Oda stepped way out of his comfort zone, which gave us a finale that was very unpredictable, but some people found that it dragged. I think Egghead, even though it didn't follow...
I already explained why that is, and if that sounds
confusing
to you, like why would the man marked by flames be traveling around on a ship, yada, 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 we'll just go
Oh,
back
damn
to
it. These headphones.
So basically, we got 3
Hold
big
on.
ones in a row, hat trick.
How do I do
probably
this?
some sort of a record to start the arc, considering that we're less than 10 chapters
What the
in.
fuck?
So strap in, everybody.
Oh, okay. So the way my headphones work... Can you guys hear that audio? The way my headphones work is basically like... Because I'm not used to these. If I press a button, then it'll start playing a video. And you guys might have just heard me like my chapter review from before playing. Where was I at? Anyway, Egghead was similar in that like it went down a route. I think people were prepared for the Straw Hats versus Buster Call, so people were like, "Oh, Luffy's gonna fight Kizaru. Maybe we get Straw Hats versus Vice Admiral, stuff like that." And then it like kind of suddenly turned into like, "Holy shit, Saturn's fighting!" And then, "Holy shit, all the Gorosei are here fighting!" And like it just kind of exploded into this whole other thing. And then it turned into Vegapunk's speech, so the action took a back seat while Vegapunk's giving his speech. And then the speech ends, and then the action that we were excited about, which is seeing like fights versus the Gorosei and stuff, like just fizzle out and they don't actually lead to anything. So Oda definitely went another route again there. And this time I feel like it was the speech that probably dragged for readers, and I think the action of the arc, like the actually exciting part of the arc that people got really hyped by, like the hype was through the roof when the 5 Gorosei appeared. I think that fizzled in that Oda put that in the back seat rather than the front seat. Like he put Vegapunk's speech front seat. So I think it just in general, yeah, when Oda goes outside of his usual arc conclusions, it's a mixed bag. Because I still really loved Egghead. I just think the climax was kind of weirdly anticlimactic, but still climactic. And then Whole Cake, it felt like Luffy versus Katakuri felt climactic, but the arc as a whole felt like it dragged to some degree. Oh, Faithful, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 19 months. More great theory on Sunday. You know why I'm so excited about that theory? The reason I'm excited about that theory is because like it was a theory that originally, like I knew that I needed to drop a theory about the God's Night, all of that stuff. That's what everybody was interested in. So there was nothing really coming to me at first, and it was kind of just like, okay, maybe it's like maybe there's some conspiracy here. Maybe King Harold was evil, working with the God's Knights and stuff. So I'm writing that theory, and it felt like I'm forcing it. I'm not good at forcing theories. So like, for example, if you ask me right now, like, hey Morge, what do you think is going to happen with Weevil? Like, what do you think is the storyline that's supposed to happen with Weevil? Or what do you think Weevil's origins are or something? Like, I could put some shit together, but I wouldn't feel confident in it, if that makes sense. Like, I could give my guesses, but I wouldn't feel confident making a full-ass theory. I feel better making theories when, like, stuff just feels like it starts clicking together bit by bit and making sense. And the King Harold being evil theory, it just felt a little bit off, and it felt like, okay, this would make sense if this fits here and here. And then I kind of had the realization that, wait, what if King Harold wasn't evil? This would like what if instead the God's Knight was the one who killed King Harold, and Loki saw him, and that's why Loki, and then suddenly everything just started to click, and I was like, well, this makes sense in this way, this makes sense in these parallels, this makes sense for King Harold's character, this makes sense for Loki's character, this makes sense why Loki doesn't like Shanks. Like, everything just sort of seemed to click, so I'm a fan of that theory. I believe that's... I'm a fan of my own theory, I guess, but like I'm very excited for the possibilities of that. 1105, The Height of Folly. What happens in this chapter? 1104, for those of you who don't know, that's the Kuma Punch, which I think is a really good chapter. The Height of Folly. What happens here? This is a chapter that basically sets up, you know, the fight that's going to happen. I think this was a bit of a fillery chapter. It ends with a lame cliffhanger, in my opinion, which is like Kuma jumping with Bonnie in his hands. I thought this was a lame cliffhanger because it's just like, it's a cliffhanger where we know nothing particularly crazy is going to happen here. And it also feels like even if, for whatever reason, this isn't an effective way to guard Bonnie, like there's other Straw Hats and stuff. Like Sanji can swoop in and save him, right? Like there's nothing really crazy here, right? Yeah, so I would put this as a C chapter. I don't think anything crazy. Like, it's not a bad chapter, but it's, you know. 1106. This chapter was fine. Like, it depends on how touched you are by the idea that, you know, all the pacifistas are on Bonnie's side. It's a cool little idea. Vegapunk dies for the first time. Luffy returns. I thought this was a good shot. I like this. I would put this in a B chapter. I would say this is a B. I think this is a B. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's like that good. I think it's solid. This This Blackbeard Pirates chapter was awesome. 1107. Loved this. Loved this Blackbeard Pirates chapter. I thought this was very, very exciting. We get Zoro versus the start of the most iconic battle in One Piece. Most iconic, I think low-key, the most iconic battle of Egghead. I think low-key, this will be talked about. Now, Luffy versus Kizaru is more iconic, but this is, you cannot deny this is the second most iconic battle of the fourth longest arc in One Piece, right? Is Egghead number 4 at this point? If Egghead's like top 4 longest arcs, and this is the second most iconic battle of the arc. So, the huff begins. We get Luffy punching Saturn. Sanji kicking Kizaru's beam. This was a hype chapter. I was hyped about this after Sanji kicked Kizaru's beam. That was awesome. Nothing really came of it, though. And then this was good. I think this was a really good chapter. I think this is an A. I like this chapter. I like this chapter quite a bit. I thought this was a solid chapter. Oh, this is a phenomenal chapter, too, right here. This, I'm going to put in A. I think Luffy grabbing... This is what I... Like, this chapter got me really hyped. Because it's just like... It's just a reminder that Gear 5th Luffy is in a constant state of nerfing himself. When Gear 5th... Because, like, I've always had questions regarding the potential tone with Gear 5th Luffy, right? This chapter gave me so much hope for the future with how Gear 5th Luffy could be written tone-wise. I think he just needs a serious enough matchup for him to... Like, a really personally invested matchup for him to really bring out this side more often. But, like, yeah, this chapter was just like, okay, if Gear 5th Luffy is actually getting serious, then this stuff's a joke to him, right? This was a phenomenal scene, phenomenal panel, got everybody really, really fucking hyped. Yeah, I think that's an easy A. I think this is... I'm going to put this in A. I'm going to bump Kuma's down. Or this stuff should be... I'll keep it S, but then I feel like this should be S too. B means like a solid chapter. C means weak, right? Solid, weak. D is like bad. A is like good. S should be... I think we need one more tier. I think that's what's missing here. I think we need one more tier. So I'm going to bump everything, okay? I think that's what's missing here. Alright, hold on. Sometimes we do too many tiers, admittedly. So maybe I regret this in a second. Okay. Shit. Nah, I should have just changed the colors. I fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I like tier maker's gradient, so I like trying to stick to that if possible. And then let me add one above, and then this will be SS. I don't think we've had an SS chapter yet. I feel good with this though. I think I'd put this as a good chapter. I'd say this is a very good chapter. I think the Blackbeard parts make it a very good chapter. Very good, very good. S is very good. Amazing. All-powerful God Enel, thanks for being a Pirate King to remember for 21 months. Happy holidays, Mordster and chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Also, let's get the stream likes to 100 because we're almost there. Okay, continuing on, right? I think Gorosei being summoned, this was a phenomenal, that was just a phenomenal cliffhanger. Maybe should go in. I think I'm going to put the next chapter in amazing. I think the Gorosei, this was Oda's first true double spread in God knows how many years. The Gorosei's full forms was just insane. I think when they first showed up, that was like a, break the internet type moment, as they say. Yeah, I think this goes here. Chapter 1111. Ceiling Stains, the SS chapter is any Jerma 66 shows up. Ceiling Stains says it can't be S because it marked the start of the worst of all time cover story. Cover stories are counted separately. This was a cool chapter. Get some Luffy versus Gorosei action. I think it's a solid chapter. Solid to good. I think it's a solid chapter. Maybe like a B? Maybe a B or a C? No, not a C. I think it's a solid chapter. I think it was solid. Nothing wrong with a B. What happens in 11:12? Phantom Greyfire, thanks for the 11:10. Saturn reveals his full demonic form, injuring Luffy. Vegapunk's final weapon activates. Bonnie realizes. Okay. Chapter 11:11. Luffy taps into new power, wounds Saturn. Vegapunk's defense mechanism falters. Bonnie witnesses Kuma's full memories, reflecting his immense sacrifice. No, that's not correct. I don't think this is correct. Phantom Greyfire, I think these are a little off. I don't think those are correct. Because I'm at 11:12, right? This is all, what you're talking about is all earlier. Okay, so what's happening here? This chapter was... I think this is us entering the phase where maybe not that much stuff happens. I think this is entering the phase where not that much stuff happens. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in C, because it's not bad, it's just weak. 11:13. ChatGPT offset the numbers probably. Damn. Can't trust the... Man. Have you heard that a lot of Gen Z is basically illiterate? Have you guys heard that? I could believe it. I am correct to dislike Gen Z the way that I do. No offense to any of you guys that are Gen Z, but I just know that you just do TikTok. That's all you guys do. You go home and you make TikToks. That's it. I just can't respect that sort of a generation, My generation, we go home and we make YouTube videos. I just can't respect people who you don't learn, you don't read, you just use ChatGPT for everything. My generation, we're the pre-TikTok, pre-ChatGPT generation. We had all the information in the world at our fingertips, but it was a tool, It was a tool for us. The Gen Z generation, it's a dependence. It's very different. What's going on here? This chapter was important. This chapter was a great chapter. This chapter is arguably such a big lore reveal that it should go in SS. Virgil Hawkins says, you're Gen Z Morge. I barely avoid the Gen Z window. I'm 1995. I think Gen Z starts around 98. Something like that. 98, 97. Your entire fan base is Gen Z, bro? Nah, come on now. Our world is going to sink into the ocean. This chapter was a huge reveal. I think this chapter I think that chapter is a big enough reveal that I think I'd put it there. As well as the following... This chapter, the Mother Flame chapter was huge too. The Wings of Icarus, okay. Yeah, the first... Okay, Vegapunk's speech, I think people forget. Vegapunk's speech started off hot. It started off hot. Okay, where does he explain... Okay, so he starts getting into the story here. I think this is a good chapter. I think it's a good chapter. He starts getting into the story here. And then here is where I think he reveals the big shit. That, like, this stuff was cool. Like, this was when he was still feeding us bombs bit after bit, right? World of One Piece is under the sea. 200. This stuff's big. This is a legendary chapter, actually. Yeah, Vegapunk speed. This was a legendary chapter. This changed, like, One Piece. And Hernami says, Vegas fuck Yapfest. JWP says, that's Gen Alpha or the bottom of Gen Z, lol. No, I've heard that Gen Z is borderline uneducated. I've heard on the streets. I've heard that they have no work skills or anything like that. I believe this. I don't have a lot to prove it. I actually don't think I know Gen Z people. I know some Gen Zs. I actually do know some Gen Zs. I just realized. Also, my sister is Gen Z, but she's the total opposite of, like, other Gen Zs. She is not very online. She does not really know what memes are. And she thinks Gen Z is stupid. So I support her views of Gen Z. Okay. I think this chapter was when people started being like, all right, this is a yap fest. This chapter, I think we don't really get much information. We get Vegapunk apologizing, right? We get him apologizing, but not sharing vital information to people. We get, it's reiterating a lot of what already was stated. Emith's back up, and at this point in time, keep in mind, at this point in the story, we have no reason to give a shit about Emith. We really don't. It's just this Iron Giant that's walking around. So the Iron Giant getting up to walk around is just like, come on, man. Take a seat. We just want to see Luffy fight the Gorosei, you know? More Jump 95-2 and we're on the cusp. Yes! But the cusp is not the same as not the cusp, is the most eloquent way I can put it. There's a huge difference between being on the cusp and not being on the cusp. You know? We, on the cusp, refuse to affiliate with those beyond the cusp. Beyond the cusp, there's nothing but TikToks, ChatGPTs, and then I've read this, by the way. Gen Z, like, I saw this study. 75% of Gen Z or some shit has anxiety or depression. Literally. I think that's like a thing that I saw. 75%. Isn't that insane? Almost unbelievable, some might say. Almost unbelievable. Almost like it's a culture of, like, thinking it's cool to be neurodivergent or some shit. Interesting. Maybe you wouldn't have so much anxiety and depression if you got off TikTok and Instagram. Interesting. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, continuing on. This chapter was, I think, when people were just like, all right, he's just yapping. Vegapunk's just yapping. And it's funny because it's not even like all it took is like one extra chapter of just this Vegapunk dialogue, but combined with the Oda breaks, I think is what really did it in. You know, combined with the Oda breaks made it difficult. So we got Vegapunk. I think this was a weak chapter by most people's regards. I wouldn't say it's a bad chapter, but I think a lot of people felt like it's weak, and I think a lot of people were pissed at this point in time. I was still enjoying Vegapunk's speech. And keep in mind, it's additionally harder for me to enjoy Vegapunk's speech as a content creator because, like, when people aren't hyped, when Oda's releasing chapters that aren't hype about One Piece, that aren't getting people hyped about One Piece, it is harder as a content creator to create exciting content or keep people as engaged. But I still, despite that, enjoyed Vegapunk's speech overall. It was just slow going, but I feel like it's a point in the story. I still believe it's a point in the story that is going to be really, really good to go through on reread. Like, when you're, like, I sincerely believe that, like, 10 years down the line, when One Piece is over, and I'm getting to just, like, reread this series from start to finish, just reread the series from start to finish, I sincerely believe that at the point, like, if I'm in the flow of the story and, like, all these mysteries and build up and, like, the whole world, like, there's so much setup and everything like that to the story, I feel like once I get, and there's so much around the Void Century and the truth of the world, etc., I feel like once I get to Vegapunk's speech, I will feel in the flow of everything enough that I'm like, yes, now is the time that we actually get the full elaborate breakdown, or at least full elaborate breakdown number 1, as to the truth of this world. And I think I would enjoy sitting through those 5-6 chapters of like him breaking it down, you know? I do think One Piece will end in 10 years. All right, let's see what's going on here. JWP, thanks for the 2. If your age is 13 to 27, you're Gen Z, bro. I'm 29, so I'm around there, but not quite. All right. Was this chapter good? We got Zoro versus Venus Juro. The Gorosei jumping Emeth. I think this was a weak chapter, from what I recall. Unless people want to defend it. I do feel like this was around the peak of people being kind of done with Vegapunk's speech. I do think I think Vegapunk started his speech hot though. First few chapters, first few chapters. All right, so this is stuff happening again. I think this is a chapter that Bonnie turns. Yeah, so this is a chapter. This was a controversial chapter. I think overall I'd put it in good at this point. I wouldn't say very good. I'd say I'd put it in good personally. Do people have critiques about that? Retirement age. Eric Reed says, Morge grew up on Annoying Orange and Fred. He knows content. I fucking forgot about Fred. Fred was the first big, not the first big YouTuber. I liked Smosh. I liked Nigahiga. I liked I don't think I was big on Fred, but I had friends who liked Fred, so then I think they showed me enough videos that like I somewhat enjoyed Fred. But I don't think I'd ever go home and like on my own watch Fred videos. What else? I liked SXE Phil. I thought Whitest Kids... I like Derek Comedy. For those of you who don't know, that's where actually Donald Glover started off. Derek Comedy. Thought that was fun. Oh, Gen Z is exposing their Gen Z-ishness. This pisses me off. You can't even talk about famous past YouTubers without them being like, oh my god, you said what? You fucking Gen Z. Go fucking do TikTok. Get on TikTok. Get out of here. This is no place for you. This is a place for grown-ups. All right. I can't believe that I said Nigahiga and there were legitimately people in chat that were like, LMAO, what? What did he just say? You guys don't even know. You don't even know who started this whole game. You don't know. You don't know where it all began. You guys are being like, this is like if I mentioned Joy Boy and you guys are like, what? What's Joy Boy? And I'm like, that's how this whole shit began. That's where the whole thing, everything that we have today, it's all because of Joy Boy. All right? You guys don't understand. Let's move it along. What's happening here? Fucking Katakuri. What the hell? I totally forgot. All right. What happens this chapter? Is this a nothing chapter or a something chapter? The chapter ends with Emeth punching Warkiri. Right. This is... I'm going to go ahead and put this in weak. All right. This was the Atlas Sacrifice chapter. Atlas Sacrifice chapter. I don't know about this one. Y'all. All right, this was basically just a setup chapter. I'm going to go ahead and I might put this chapter in bad. No. Wait. Am I stupid? I fucking skimmed the beginning part. I thought it had a good flashback for Vegapunk. It's a good thing I caught myself. Is this a chapter that... I think this is a good chapter. I think Vegapunk's shit is good. I like Vegapunk stuff. I was judging on the second half because I glossed over the first half. Dragon Slayer Light says Gen Z is the cool gen. Gen Alpha is the gen that is on TikTok 24/7. Which generation has all anxiety and depression. Which one of you guys? Can someone explain which generation is all about anxiety and depression? Is it not Gen Z? JWP, thanks for the 5. The World chapter is better than Luffy versus Kizaru and Saturn chapter, in my opinion. The World chapter is pretty cool. It has several hype things happen. I mean, this isn't ranked by, it's not ranked within tiers. Within tiers, I think it's just by order of events. Right? We can keep it in order of events, if that makes it easier. I don't think the World chapters, like amazing chapters, I think are like all-time great One Piece chapters. Like all-time memorable moments. I don't think anything here is an all-time memorable moment. Maybe for some people, maybe if, depending on the anime does Kuma scene or something, people will view Kuma's moment as an all-time great One Piece moment. But I think these are two game-changing reveals that were crazy at the time that they were revealed. I think now we all just accept that that's the case. But this completely revamped. Like, this was kind of just changing our whole concept of the One Piece world. And then this was one of the coolest double-page spreads ever in the story. Like, this spread initially had a tremendous impact. I think the spread has gone down over time in terms of how iconic it is, simply because a lot of people feel like the Gorosei didn't live up to how hyped they were initially. But when Oda dropped this spread, a lot of people were just like, holy shit, like, this is Final War stuff. Oda's not playing around. This is the first time he's done, like, all serious designs for the bad guys and stuff like that, you know? Radko says millennials started the emo shit, lol. Yeah, but that was for middle school. Like, that's middle school millennials. You can't count, like, how people were in middle. Everyone's cringe in middle school. Like, emo stuff is a phase, but only for middle school. Like, it's like kid stuff, right? I think Gen Z grows up and into their 20s, they're like anxiety and depression. That's all we talk about. Fading Faces millennials started that shit. Yeah, we started the conversation. It's good to have conversations, you know? Mental health is important. We started the conversation. Y'all took that conversation. We're just like, this is our life. This is our identity. Our identity is just being anxious and depressed. And we're like, whoa, we never said that. We're just trying to, you know, open up a conversation. You guys are like, no, we love this so much. We just want to be it. It's like, all right, guys. All right. This is, I think, is an iconic One Piece chapter. I think this is amazing. This one. I think this is another iconic spread. Mo says they're emo adults, bro. What? Yeah, but that's not the majority of millennials. There are, yeah, you can find goths. That's whatever. That's not like the majority of millennials. My point is very simple, which is that the majority of Gen Z seems to be like, we have anxiety, we have depression. The majority of millennials aren't walking around like with fucking, like the goth lifestyle or whatever. I'm trying to. There's a difference between a generation having, you know, certain slices of it, having certain subcultures or whatever, and what's the overall arcing culture of it, right? Gen Z's overall culture is TikTok, anxiety, depression. Tell me that's incorrect. I definitely believe that's correct. Only putting 121 up there because of that panel. I do, yeah. This is an iconic panel. This is like the speech for the One Piece. That's pretty cool, right? I think the speech for the One Piece, like, this is, I don't know. I think that's like maybe I'm using the amazing bar too high. Okay, so for example, if this were a different year, then I would have one more row here, right? Which would be legendary. All right, legendary. This is where, like, Ace's death, or like Gear 5th first chapter, or like I Wanna Live. This is where that stuff goes, you know? Or like Nothing Happened, or like Whitebeard's death. Like, this is where the truly, like, iconic, like, god tier One Piece chapters go. I don't think we have that yet for this year. I don't think we have that. I think we've only got this. Like, we've got very good chapters. I think we've got some amazing chapters. But I don't think we've got, like, iconic One Piece chapters, you know? I don't know. All right. I think Joy Boys Hockey is an amazing chapter. I think Joy Boys Hockey is an amazing chapter. Let me see. What did we do last year? Let me see. Let me show you guys. Let me see what the criteria was last year. Here we go. Let's see what's up. All right. So last year we had oh my god. Yeah, last year we said there's a lot of chapters in the phenomenal tier. I don't know about this. I don't know if I don't know if I agree with this more just rating of things. Although that year we did get many chapters that were
There's just
like if it think come on, let me how do I get back to okay. Looking at this, so this is from last year, right? Looking at this, it looks like yeah. The Kuma life chapter, Ginny chapter, these are amazing. This was the God Valley flashback chapter, Sabo Goris Hachinosu shit. If I were to do this again, I would piece out some of this. I would break some of this up. This was the Rocks character. This was the Rocks crew reveal in this chapter. That's why this chapter's in here. This was Emu and the Gorosei Zone reveals. This was Kobe's moment, Garp Aokiji. I think I might drop Saturn in retrospect. And depending on how Kuma's story goes, I would probably drop this one. I think last year had a stronger roster of chapters than this year, from what I'm seeing so far. I would agree dropping this makes sense. I think this is a very good chapter. I mean, that's why it's here. I'm going to keep Joy Boys Hockey up there. The reveal about Vegapunk's stuff, like the plan he concocted, I thought that was solid. That's chapter 1123. Wait, where's 22? Am I missing 22? Batman for real, thanks for the 5. Don't tell me you're so unreflective that you're actually pushing the my generation better than yours argument. Okay, so part of it is I am aware, all right? At the end of the wear, I'm aware of the irony. I know how much millennials got made fun of by the previous generations. I get it. I know, all right? I know. Millennials got made fun of a lot by previous generations. However, there are a few factors to it, okay? There's a few factors to it, all right? One, this is the only time. We have to cling to this as millennials because this is the only, I've seen what happened. All right? It's just natural. There's a period of time that the newer up and coming generation, for us that was millennials, you get made fun of a lot. You get made fun of in movies, TV shows, parody stuff, comedy bits, newspaper headlines, articles, etc., talking about millennials, all the problems with millennials, why this is blah, 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 blah. Our generation got shit on for a while, okay? But you know what happened? Now, millennials are kind of like, we've got more, how to explain? We're at the stage where the workforce, it's mainly us at this point. We're still older and have the life experience over Gen Z and stuff basically now there's been a phase that I've seen over the last 5 years where millennials get to dictate the narrative a lot more. That's why we started making fun of boomers and the bootstraps mentality and basically blaming our parents. Now you started seeing more and more commonly shitting on the previous generations for setting the world up so shittily, yada, yada, yada. So I feel like I've seen in the last, several years, finally, our generation kind of gets to control the narrative for some period of time. And I know what's going to happen next because it's just a cycle of things, right? We have this window where we sort of get to control the narrative. This is our window to control the narrative, right? This is our time. Soon enough, Gen Z will get to control the narrative. And then you all will get to shit on us and make fun of us and talk about how we screwed up everything. Yada, yada, yada. It's going to happen. Therefore, right now is the only window that we have the power. And so we got to shit on all the other generations as much as we can while we have this window. Because we already took it from the previous generation, right? We already took it from the previous generation. We're going to get it from you all, from the Gen Zers eventually, right? This is our window. This is our window to make fun of the boomers and make fun of Gen Z for having TikTok, brain rot, anxiety, depression, right? This is our window. This is our time. So we're going to seize it. So I don't care about being self-reflective or not, all right? This is just what's going to happen, all right? The last part I'll say is that I do believe that this is not a boomer take. I mean, I guess it's a boomer take or whatever you can call it. I do believe that there is this is my actual objective point of view from this, though. Okay, and you can say this is incorrect or correct or whatever. I do think that forget Gen Z, Gen Alpha, or whatever. I think that the generations that are growing up right now that have that grow up with technology the way they do, there is likely going to be, because millennials, we grew up at an age where like the information age, it was really kicking off. And so like a lot of these tools, et cetera, were at our fingertips. But we also had to grow up without it in a sense first. So for us, those things were tools. Whereas with like a lot of the younger generations, they don't know how to use computers. They don't know how to use like a lot of this technology because everything is kind of spoon-fed from the beginning. So this might be boomer sounding, but I do think that our generation grew up with being able to use this stuff as tools, whereas the newer generations, lower end of Gen Z, maybe a Gen Alpha or whatever coming up, they have a dependence on it, which I think is very, very different. I do think that over-dependence on technology, I think like so much of the, like we grew up with like YouTube and stuff becoming a thing, but like growing up with all of this stuff already inundating you, your lifestyle, what you're consuming, I do think that leads to, unironically, like brain rot to some degree. So I am concerned about future generations, but I guess every generation goes through something like this. I do feel like it's unfair to say that every generation goes through something like this, therefore you can't be critical of what could potentially be happening in the new generation, because this is uncharted territory in terms of how fast technology has increased, because the information age is just vastly different than what we had before. So I don't think it's the same as like, oh, well, our generation grew up with like having to chop firewood and your generation gets to grow up with like matchsticks or some shit like that. Like, I think that there's a difference here. But I'm not sure. Maybe that part of it is a boomer take, but that is my genuine view. My overall view, though, is that I do need to shit on the other generations while I have this platform and while we've got control of the narrative. Because soon, we'll just be made fun of. You know? Just the way it is. All right. Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, every generation does that, but my curiosity is like, at some point, is it just going to be true? Like, is it possible that a generation just grows up so so inundated with like these shorts, videos, etc., basically like AI, ChatGPT to help with everything, improving AI to help with everything, inability to do any sort of work functioning itself or whatever, and then social media absolutely crippling people's brains? Like, at a certain point, would we eventually just get a generation of basically, I'm not saying this is actually Gen Z, jokes aside, I'm not even saying this is Gen Alpha. I don't know enough, right? But is it possible that if things continue down a certain route, we do eventually hit a generation that is, like, genuinely incapable of functioning as like normal adults the way that we know, like without, like in like, is it at a certain point do we get a generation that's just like so burnt growing up with all of this social media shit, YouTube Shorts type shit, TikTok shit, AI tools, like, you know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, is there a possibility that there's a generation that grows up that just has no real skills, doesn't develop literacy properly, things like that? Like, is there a certain point where we just, like, a generation of just fucking zonked out of their minds, like, children just grows up or something like that? I don't know. and then society just collapses. I don't know. I think that's a solid possibility because there's not really any sort of parameters to stop something like that from taking place. Anyway. Justin Holland, thanks for the 5. Crazy there isn't a bounty update for the Strahds yet for Egghead events, and I hope for Strahd Fleet return among many other hopeful returns and twists. I'm so fucking confused. The bounty system doesn't make sense. They're like, we gotta update Dory and Brogy. That's your biggest... They don't fucking matter. Forget about Dory and Brogy. The fucking Straw Hat crews. Like, what about them? I think that's kind of insane. JWP, thanks for the 5. Last year had so much peak looking back, even the stuff not in SS is still peak. Oh, 2023. Yeah, 2023, yeah. Like last year's S stuff I think would have a good argument for this year, like amazing, SS. Or something like that. Okay. Continuing on. So it's all relative, 1122. This was the Joy Boy Knot chapter, right? So I already put that up here. Okay. Where did I put 23? I already put 23 in solid. 24. 1124. Outback Panda says Skibidi Morge. Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick, which is like, I do not. There was a period of time that I thought Gen Z was stupid for the memes and the type of humor that they had, but then I realized that's not a generational thing. It's not a generational thing. It's I think that's a constant of I think that's normal human brain development. I think that's just a brain development stage thing, because if I think back to, I think somebody brought this up, maybe even you guys in chat brought this up or something, or somebody I was talking to, I forget, or on the internet or something, but like there's just an age range where random stuff is extremely funny. Like random stuff just becomes that's like peak humor, right? So Skibidi Toilet is just their version of that, but like looking back at our, like when we were like, or my generation or whatever, we had like this narwhal song or whatever. Like we thought narwhals were funny, like narwhals singing in the ocean, blah, blah, blah. Like Charlie and the llamas and stuff like that. Charlie the unicorn. Like there's lots of random ass shit. I just realized that it's just the equivalent. Like I think if you took my middle school, high school self or whatever, like if I was in middle school, high school, and then I saw Skibidi Toilet or whatever, I would find that funny back then too. So it's not so much a generational thing. It's literally an age thing, right? So, and it just happened to be that was the age that a lot of Gen Z happened to be at, right? You get what I'm saying? So I don't hold that stuff against them. It's more so the things that are unique. Like having random humor is not unique. Like having random humor when you're like middle school, high school age is not unique to any generation. I think every generation probably has that. So the things that I view as more unique to given generations are basically like, what are the overall characteristics that they're carrying from, that define them from like, young adulthood onwards, basically. You know what I'm saying? Oh boy, it's Beans has applied this thinking to the technology thing. No, because if you took my high school, middle school self and compared it to Gen Z in high school, middle school, I'm probably like my version of myself. I don't have the same technology issues that, as I understand, a lot of them do. The neurodivergent like issues, etc. That they seem to like. Those are the things that are functionally different between the generations. You know what I mean? Desire for random humor, that's just something that naturally happens as you grow up, All right, what's going on here? Oh, this was a good-ass chapter. Yeah, this was a great chapter. Oh boy, Boyd's Bean says, yeah, but they grew up extremely differently. Yeah, I'm not saying it's genetic. Like, oh, they just randomly, we just genetically had a generation of people that are so radically different than any generation before. No, it's just what you grew up with. That doesn't mean I have to like it. You Yeah, it's like generations are obviously a product of their environment because like the fucking gene pool is the exact same. It's just it's one gene pool passing down to the next gene pool. But you grow up in this different environment, and then it produces. I'm complaining about what it produces. You know, I'm not saying it's their fault that they grew up in like the TikTok era or whatever, but I don't like what comes of it. You know. Poco Loco, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 4 months. Akaina's response to Kizaru makes me hopeful for his character in the future. Really hoping he gets a flashback at some point. I am low-key thinking that it's possible that every Admiral gets redeemed in some way except for fucking Green Bull. Because Green Bull is kind of written like super one-dimensional. I think Akaina's flashback has tremendous potential. Very excited for Akaina's flashback. So this was a good chapter for Kizaru stuff. I think the Kizaru stuff is strong. I might put it in very good. I think it's at least good. I don't think it's so strong that I'd put it in very good. Maybe I'd put it in very good. I'd put it in very good. Killed in action. Yeah. Okay, this was a great chapter. I thought this was a phenomenal... Right, this is the Garling? Yeah, this is a phenomenal chapter. I low-key have this in my contention for Chapter of the Year. And we are going to vote for Chapter of the Year at the end of this. I love that. That chapter was hype as fuck. The Garling stepping up. And then this was a good chapter, too. This was that Shanks Blackbeard chapter. Yeah, Shanks Blackbeard chapter. I thought that was good. I thought it was very good. Very good or good? It's not... I don't think it's very good. It might just be good. And we arrive at Elbaf. I might just put it in good. Like, just because Shanks shows up... I mean, the Bartolomeo loyalty thing was important, though. Also, let's get the Streamlabs to 150. Yeah, Akainu can't be redeemed. You're right. Every time I think about Akainu being redeemed, I fucking forget about... the civilian ship. The civilian ship basically just destroys any hopes of that. Repeat that, says, man, us older Gen Z feel completely different than Gen Z he's talking about. That makes sense, because if we're being perfectly honest, I'm almost Gen Z myself. Like, I'm probably, if you're older Gen Z, I'm probably, like, within a few years of you. And I often feel very different from, like, older millennials. So, at the end of the day, I'm ranting about something that has a very wide range of individuals and that I myself am like close to essentially being. Okay. So this shit with the Twister, Whip, Strike. This was a fun chapter. I thought this was a solid chapter. Solid chapter. Them getting chased through the Legoland village. I think this was weak. And you might say, but Morge, like, it has interactions between the Straw Hat crew and everything. No. I think this was good. I think the first one of this was good. I think the follow-up was weak. So for those of you who are forgetting, the way I just ranked the Roto chapters, which is what I call them, is this was the opening stuff of Elbaf. I think this was actually good. I think this was a very good comedy chapter, this opening chapter. This was a good comedy chapter. Yeah, this was a good comedy chapter. This was actually probably one of the best comedy chapters Oda's done in a long time. Because One Piece, Oda's obviously still really good at comedy, but he can only do it very effectively when he has time to write a full comedic scene. And the chapter was basically a full comedic scene with like gag 1, gag 2, like the gags kind of built on each other, you know, things played off each other. Like, you got to kind of set up beats and stuff for like a whole comedic scene to play out very well. So I thought that this was actually a good chapter. I thought this next chapter, where it's just the Straw Hats basically discovering the mirror, finding Chopper and everything like that. Like, Roto shows up at the very end. This chapter I thought was solid. I didn't think it was amazing. Oh, no, I thought it was solid. Like, we got the interactions between the crew and everything like that, which is good. I think it was solid overall. There was nothing that was like amazing. It was kind of just like the bar is so low for crew interactions that just getting to see them, like the OG5, like interact with each other is fun enough that even if nothing of note happens in the chapter and it's not that funny or anything, it's still solid. I think here, which was the final chapter of the road situation, when they free themselves and everything. I thought that was weak because, like, yeah, we're still getting to see the crew interact and everything, but they're not in an interesting scenario. The stakes are like, it's still fun to see the crew interact in like low stakes scenarios, like the Navy backfight or something like that. But this is just like so low stakes, like they're just running through. There's almost no real whatever. I mean, you don't need stakes for a fun chapter, but I also don't think it's like such an amazing comedy chapter or anything. Like, it's just the crew interacting or whatever, which is fine, but I'm not at a point where like I'd be like, this was anything more than a, like, it's not a remarkable chapter in any way. Like, I don't look back on it like, man, I really, really loved seeing the crew interact as they're like about to break out of Elbaf, like fake Elbaf, and take out Roto or whatever. Yeah, I think it's just a little too weak to me. So I'd put it there. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's like remarkable. The hell? Okay. 1 second. The heck? All right. There we go. All right. I thought 1130 was a phenomenal character introduction. I loved 1130. Like, that got me very, very excited. People might think 1130 is too high, but I really, really fucking like this chapter. It moved very slow, and it did a lot of things that I enjoyed. It wasn't just the Loki reveal. I think the Loki reveal is the coolest reveal that Oda's done for like a side character for an island. I loved a lot of this chapter because it was our first, like, overall this chapter was just strong on all fronts because I think we got some time with the other half of the crew, and I got to see some time with Frankie taking charge and everything. So I think it's nice to see these Straw Hat members breathe without the other Straw Hats taking up center stage. Then we got to see what Elbaf is like, and I think that this was like a really magical section of the story. The snowy bridge, we get the vibe of the island a little bit. So this owl, is this the same? Is this owl related to the Owl Library owl? I don't know. I fucking forget. But yeah, the Straw Hats, this is one of my favorite shots. The Straw Hats traveling across the snowy bridge. And then the entire build-up to Loki is really cool. You feel that? I'm getting goosebumps. And just the build-up is phenomenal. Them hyping Loki up from here. The lore, the legendary fruit, right, that we're hyped about, all of that. And then the shot of Loki, one of my favorite character introductions ever. And then the full shot of Elbaf. Like, this is back-to-back. Like, Loki's introduction, and then the full shot of Elbaf Island. I think I put it in amazing. Then we got... What do we have? This chapter was just them... Yeah, this chapter is alright. I'd say it's... here. No, it was... I'd put it here. This next chapter was kind of... It was fun to see Luffy and... maybe I'll put it in solid. It was fun to see Luffy and Loki interact. There's not much to it. I think the Roto stuff has played its course, so they didn't need to keep writing a storyline for the Roto stuff. I believe this chapter continues some Roto shit. I'd say it's solid to weak. I'd say this chapter is solid or weak. Maybe I should have had a tier that said okay. Maybe weak should just be okay. Maybe weak should just be okay. That might be better than, yeah. And if it's okay, I'd just put it in. I can feel comfortable putting this in okay. Weak seems insulting. The hell? Yeah. Weak seems insulting. Okay just means it's okay, right? All right, so we got this. All right, 1132. Oh, this chapter, I love this chapter. Phenomenal chapter. Genuinely phenomenal chapter. It feels weird putting it in... I love this chapter. Just a magical chapter, magical adventure. It feels weird putting it in amazing because nothing crazy happened, I'd put it as a strong very good. But I truly, truly enjoyed the full. I think I like that Oda took his time with the introduction of Elbaf. This is 33, and then 34. I feel like is 34 did have a mind blow. Like, the chapter itself is fine, but the twist at the end, it depends how you value the twist. The twist at the end is crazy. It's one of the craziest twists in One Piece history, right? So I guess you'd put it here. It is one of the craziest twists we've ever had in One Piece, that's for sure. One of the craziest twists. I'd put it here. Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of One Piece, it's probably like a top something twist. Yeah. So I don't feel like this year was the craziest year chapter wise. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 30, up to not 30, 150. Yeah, we only had 30. Sorry, I'm mixing up my thoughts. We only had like 30ish chapters this year. And they weren't the strongest batch. I think partly because the last chapter of last year was 1102, which is arguably like, you could argue that's. You could have a legitimate argument that character writing wise, 1102 was the best One Piece chapter ever, unless not, like, it's not actually what's happening isn't actually happening, right? Like, unless Kuma is gonna get fixed or whatever. But if that was his, like, the permanent erasure of his consciousness, that's arguably the best One Piece character writing chapter ever, or it's up there at the very least, right? And then 2023 also had a ton of really amazing action in the outside world, yada yada, Luffy, Kizaru, etc. 2024, I think it had fewer Oda releases, but then the tricky thing is that also it was coming off the tail end of Egghead, which was, for a lot of people, not the strongest section of the arc, relatively speaking. Like, it dragged for some people, and it had some really good moments and really good moments in between Egghead and Elbaf as well. And then it had the start of Elbaf, which is naturally going to be slower, right? So now we're kind of, like, Banks' arrival basically kicks off the really juicy part, you know? Junior Cinema says, have you rewatched the One Piece fan letter? I've not rewatched it, but I watched it. I thought it was really good when I watched it. Yeah, I think... Okay, is there any chapter that you guys feel should be in the top tier that's not in the top tier? Otherwise, we're going to do a vote. We're going to do a vote on best chapter of the year. Rafty Goat says, when was last year as good as 2023? I think 2023 was very consistently really, really good for One Piece. 2022, you could argue, like, 2022 had some really cool shit at the end, actually, because, like, it had all of the Gear 5th shit, Luffy versus Kaido ending, and then after that, it segued into, like, Green Bull and Shanks, and then Cross Guild, and then the new bounties, new Yonko, the Lucia Kingdom destruction. What else happened in there? Cross Guild, Blackbeard attacking Amazon Lily, Vegapunk's reveal, a lot of really hype shit. It just tapered down towards the end because it had to get the plot of Egghead rolling. And then 2023 was the juicy section of Egghead, like the big middle section with also cutaways to the outside world. Yeah. 2024 being Year of the Dragon. I don't know how much Oda cares about that shit. Okay. Anybody have anything that they believe should be in the SS tier? Otherwise, what we've got is the 5 Gorosei spread. We've got the reveal that the One Piece world is going to be, that flooding is going to be the final conflict of One Piece. We've got the reveal that the One Piece world is under the sea. We got Joy Boy's Haki Knot. We got Figarland Garling chapter, same chapter as Saturn was destroyed. We got Loki's introduction, and we got Evil Shank's reveal. I'd say, like, would you guys want to guess what my favorite chapter of the year was, actually? You guys want to guess? I can tell you guys my ranking, and then I'll show you guys. Then you guys can vote. Let me do my ranking real quick. I'll do my ranking, and then I'll let you guys just have the final ranking. My favorite chapters of the year. So it's tricky. It's tricky because I think a lot of, how do I say this? If we were to rate hype and how much people love the chapter on their initial releases, I think that the 5 Gorosei, I think that spread of the 5 Gorosei coming out, I think that was probably the most impactful chapter of the year when it happened. I think that was just insane. People were going nuts. People were gushing over the artwork. People were posting this, being like, we Berserk now and stuff like that. Like talking about how these are like Berserk-esque designs and stuff. Like, people were so excited, and people were like, this is the type of aura we want for the final villains of the series. People were so hyped over this shit. I think this chapter carries less weight now because we've had some time and people weren't as happy with what the Gorosei, like how, it's not even like the Gorosei were weak. It's just like how much the Gorosei actually did or how much, they just didn't live up to, I think, a lot of people's hopes for them or whatever. It's not even like they were weak. Like, they were pretty effective individually. They just didn't do that, like, I think their peak hype was in this chapter, basically, right? Gooma Booma, thanks for the 2. 1030 and 1032 is peak One Piece enjoyment for me. So it's interesting you say that, man. Because 1032, I agree, phenomenal chapter. I would actually say that in retrospect, I'd say which chapter got me excited the most when it first came out. These 2 chapters are tricky because, like, they confirmed a big theory that I'd launched, so I felt good getting to talk about that theory. And, like, this chapter also, theory confirmed. Like, I had several theories confirmed this year. Like, One Piece world buried under the sea, and then all of the Gods Knights, Shanks, evil brother stuff, evil whatever. This is technically still not confirmed, so I might have to walk that back. We don't know. But those chapters got me hyped for those reasons as well. I would say that initially when the chapter came out, I think the 5 Gorosei moment was the most exciting to me. And I think for a lot of people, it's just how do we weigh that in terms of, like, is chapter of the year what we view in retrospect or what we view, like, what was the most impactful for its time? Drink water, thanks for the 10. Hey, Morge, the brain fruit took... I fucking forgot that Vegapunk's not naturally that smart. He's fucking juicing. I fucking forgot. The brain fruit took Vegapunk's brain as host, but where do you think the fruit essence will go for other Devil Fruit users if they had their brain removed? That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, because, like, the idea of, like, does that fruit even move somewhere else or something? I don't know. That's a really interesting point. Repeat that. Says, I remember more trying to convince me that each Gorosei was equal to Kaido. I never tried to say that every Gorosei was equal to Kaido. I did say that Warcury objectively has... It depends on how you want to view it. Because, like, so far, there's nothing that... there's not really... Like, based on what we've seen... Right? There's no real argument. Like, Warcury just seems like strictly better than Kaido from what we've seen so far, right? Because Kaido's Kaido's biggest thing is he's a tank. That's what everybody says. Like, Kaido's biggest thing is that he's a tank. He's just like this dude that just keeps on going. Like, so much endurance, so much stamina, so durable. That's Kaido's biggest thing going for him. Because he's not number one in, like, attack power. I don't think people view him as, like, the fastest. He doesn't have the best. He's got a good Devil Fruit, but it's not, like, some hack-ass Devil Fruit or something like that. His biggest thing is that he's just this, like, monstrous tank that it's really, really hard to put down, right? Warcury is just that, but better. In that Warcury is harder to damage. Luffy literally cannot damage Warcury with the same attacks he was using to damage Kaido. Like Warcury is much harder to damage. And even if you do damage him, he just regenerates, right? But then on top of that, Warcury seemingly has stronger Conqueror's Haki than Kaido or Big Mom. Warcury has, like... We're going off of Conqueror's Haki releases, right? Shanks and Joy Boy are the largest Conqueror's Haki releases we've seen in the story. Warcury's low-key third. Like, objectively speaking, he's got the third largest scale Conqueror's Haki release, like, in the story. It is very, very possible that Warcury has better Conqueror's Haki than Kaido. Again, the Gorosei, like, you can't really downplay the Gorosei because these are, like, the strongest Gods Knights over the last, like, 800 years, right? Whereas Kaido's just, like, one of the strongest pirates of, like, the last 40 years, right? So there's just, like, a different what the Gorosei should be, right? Like the strongest Gorosei, like Figarland Garling. Yeah, I think Figarland Garling should be above the likes of Kaido or Big Mom. Warcury, I think right up there along the likes of Kaido and Big Mom. Venus, Juro, Mars, they're probably close to Yonko-ish territory. At least Admiral, whatever you want to say. Saturn seemed like the weak one of the bunch. The problem is that we mostly saw Saturn fighting, and so that Saturn kind of became what was used to scale the Gorosei, when it's just like, no, the dude sucked. That, like, Imu fucking removed him at the end of him. He cut the weakest link and added the strongest one, which is Garling. I don't think there's anything that Kaido clearly does better than Warcury, and I think you can just you can literally just compare how they did against Luffy, and Warcury objectively did better. Like, Luffy couldn't fight Warcury, you know? Matthew Gilroy says, bro, Kaido is the strongest creature in the world. Anyone that's still, I don't know if you're saying that to trigger me, but like, Kaido is not, like, he's never actually suggested to actually be the strongest creature in the world. The idea is that, like, this is what the populace of One Piece currently believes. The populace of One Piece doesn't even fucking know that the Gorosei exist in their their actual forms, or that Imu is like Imu even is alive at all, you know? Where are we at? Yeah, I do think that Banks is going to be defeated in this arc. I think that Shanks is going to defeat him, which is why I'm still curious as to who Luffy's primary matchup is going to be. All right. So if I were to quickly rank what my favorite chapters of I'm going to do 2 rankings real quick. All right. First, I'm going to show which chapters got me the most hyped at initial, like when they initially came out. No, that's too hard because, like, I think some of these chapters are related to me getting theories correct, so I have a internal bias as to getting hyped about them. I'm not even gonna go with that, right? I'm gonna say, in retrospect, my favorite chapters of the year: 1130, this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say this is my ranking of my personal favorite chapters across the year. I really, really, really enjoyed the Loki reveal chapter. It's been a while since I've been this excited for a new character. Just so much was put into it. The chapter itself was very artsy in its presentation, revealed all of Elbaf to us as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think Loki was my favorite chapter. Okay, what do you guys feel is the chapter of the year? Let's do some polls. So I'm going to do a poll of these 4, and then I'm going to do a poll of these 3, and then put the winner of these 3 against these 4. All right? Ready? I just enjoyed the Loki chapter as, like, a chapter. You know what I mean? And I never expected that we'd have a character like that in Elbaf, because the Giants were starting to look like bums. You know what I mean? I was starting to think Dorian Broggy might be the peak of Giants. Chapter of the year. Loki / Elbaf reveal. 130. Garling promotion. Saturn death. Trying to save space here as much as possible. Upcoming Great Flood reveal. That's 11:13. And then Joy Boy Hockey Knot. I think that's 11:22. All right, we'll start with these. Yeah, this one's Joy Boy Hockey right here. All right. Looks like Garling takes it. That's my second favorite chapter of the year, so that's fair. And then we got these ones. Chapter of the year, round 2. Shanks' brother reveal, 1134. 5 Gorosei Zoan arrival. Zoan spread. That's is that 1110? And then the world is underneath the underwater. World was flooded reveal. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah. Andy Zhang says, Elbaf reveal at the end of the Rainbow is the greatest manga chapter experience I've ever had. I was genuinely sobbing. It was really beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. Tom, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 27 months, man. Just got here and did realize my membership ran out. Glad to see Morge didn't bother increasing the pen size. LBO, love the content as always. You can increase the pen size? Oh my god. What the hell? Oh my god. What the fuck? Thanks, Tom. Alright, we learn something new every day. That's amazing. Alright, everybody. So next time it'll be much more legible. Okay, so the 5 Gorosei spread is... Alright, that takes it here. Alright. 5 Gorosei spread. So I'm curious, what's the winner for the year? Let's see. Chapter of the year finals. Nick Ilvento says we know how to use computers as tools. I don't know about me. I don't know about... Imagine Gen Z just being a whole generation of me's, though. Right? Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? Tom, please tell me you're not Gen Z. Please tell me that a millennial had to come through to explain this to the rest of us. I know I can change color. No, actually, I did not know that. I lied. I know now because I opened up that thing. All right. You guys can share this information with me. You guys can share this information. All right. Chapter of the year. Garling Gorosei / Saturn death. 1125. Or 5 Gorosei zone spread. And that was 1110. All right. For the chapter of the year of 2024, get your votes in. These are our 2 finalists. It's not ordered because we didn't technically put everything against each other, but just for show, all right? These are the 2 finalists, all right? Either Gorosei Garling's appointment, along with Saturn's death. I think Dragon said some shit at the end of the chapter, too. Or the 5 Gorosei arriving in zone form. And I'm going to be honest, when the 5 Gorosei arrived in zone form, they did kick ass in this initial chapter. Venus Juro blitzes the entire island of Pacifistas. Mars destroys the what do you call? The shield, shit like that. So good chapters on both ends. I'm curious which one wins. Eric Reed says, no, you diss Mob Psycho. I'm not dissing Mob Psycho. I can't diss something that I've never read. I'm not dissing. I think people misunderstand. I'm just explaining why I don't want to watch it. You know? Because you guys already said it's about like an overpowered hero again. I don't want to watch another story about an overpowered hero. I already have One Punch Man. And if your argument is that it's One Punch Man but better, it's just like, all right, well, I'm not that interested. Like, I don't feel like watching One Punch Man but better. I'm just good One Punch Man. Oh, this is tight. Guys, get your votes in. Get your votes in, guys. Especially if it's like psychic abilities, you know? It's just, I'm not interested in the psychic abilities part of it, you know? What's interesting, though, is that the last time I had feelings like this was Haikyuu, where I was like, I'm sure Haikyuu's good, but I just don't feel like watching a volleyball thing. And then I watched Haikyuu, and I really liked it, at least season 1. So I'm sure you guys are right. I just don't feel like it, you know? And that's probably the most frustrating thing in the world for you guys, because, like, you guys know how good the series is, and you're just like, well, why didn't he just try it? He'd probably like it. I probably would like it if I tried it, but I'm not gonna, because I don't feel like it. I swayed the votes? How did I sway the votes? What did I say? Oh, did I sway it to the Gorosei thing? I think I was just trying to recall what happened in the chapters. But you guys know I already had Garling personally higher in my ratings than the Gorosei thing. I wasn't trying to sway any votes. My rating was Loki 1, then Garling 2. Like these were my two favorite chapters of the year. This one and then this one. I'm not trying to swing the votes to the Gorosei. I was just remembering what else happened in the chapter. Maybe I said too much. Okay, it does look like the 5 Gorosei spread. It looks like the Gorosei moment wins it. Looks like the Gorosei moment wins it. Tom says, Morge, look up the fight with the teleporting guy. Look up the fight with the teleporting guy. Oh, I said my opinion? Oh, so I swung it towards the Garling thing more than anything else? Yeah, I did probably. What do you mean I said my opinion? Are you saying when I ranked my favorite ones or when I was talking about... I don't know what you're talking about. But, mods be spamming more than regular chatters. Yeah, I think if you're a mod, like TomTom, Akash Panda, I think if you're a mod, then please don't abuse the mod rights to spam. I think that becomes a little unfair. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. Look up the fight with the teleporting guy. But what if that's a spoiler? Shizumaki fight on YouTube. Okay. I can watch that. Fine. Let me watch that. Shizumaki fight. Shizumaki versus... Is this ruining the series for me? Is this like... It's got 12 million views. Shit. Is this gonna ruin the series for me, though? Like, is this a big spoiler? Like, did you just tell me to watch, like, Luffy versus Lucci or something like that? What did you tell me? Akash Panda says, more to be spam because you won't see otherwise. Akash, I think it's fair to spam if it's something necessary to help the stream. Like, for example, if you're saying I missed a super... That's fair. Something that objectively, like, I missed, that's important. But I think in this case, it was like, watch the teleporting guy fight, and that was something that was being spammed. And that's like, that's kind of unfair because that's just like, that's just, you know, a personal desire to make me watch something. I'm down to watch it, but that's just the distinction. No, it's just animated well. Okay, I'll watch it. Here, I'll watch it for you guys. But here's the deal. I'm gonna watch it in the way that I want to watch it, in the way that I think I won't get copyright struck. All right, so we're gonna do that bullshit again. Here, let me do this. I think this, and then we're gonna turn off desktop audio, and we're gonna lower the opacity. We're gonna do all those things. All right. Yeah, we're going to put the opacity at 50. We're going to do all these things. And then I will watch. All right? We happy with that? We like this? You guys like how this looks? All right. We're going to end the stream with this. All right, everybody. Get ready. Let me just double check desktop audio is muted. Yep. All right. I should be able to watch this. All right, let's watch some Mob Psycho. Oh shit. Oh. He's got blood on him though. All right. Hello, hello. We good? Hello, hello, hello. All right. Okay. All right. I stopped it solely because now I don't want to see how that plays out, because I probably do want to watch Mob Psycho. So, in the interest of not getting spoiled as to how, because now I'm thinking that, like, wait, if I'm actually watching the show, then I'd probably be somewhat invested in these characters. So it's like, well, if they're going to win with some big team combo attack, I would like to actually care about the characters before they do that. So I have changed my mind. I've changed my mind. Let me see how many episodes there are. No, don't. That's still not a good reason to spam. Other people, like, if everybody in chat's saying watch this or whatever, then that's okay, but you should still not spam, that, like, a single thing over and over for me to just do that. But let me see. How many, Mob Psycho, how many episodes? How many episodes of Mob Psycho? So which one's Mob Psycho? Which one? Was it the Naruto kid? Is that him? Okay, there's 37 episodes. Oh, so we're still waiting on season 3. Holy shit. Is the series over? I like completed series. Oh no, season 3 already came out. Is Mob Psycho completed? It's all done? Wait, Mob Psycho's done? Oh, that's actually... I prefer completed series. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, I'll watch this. I'll watch this. Fuck. All right. You win this round, chat. You win this round. But I still think Sakamoto Days is not good based on the 6 chapters I've read. So we'll wait and see on that. We'll see what happens there. Yeah. I still have a chance to be right about something. Actually, I'll probably enjoy Sakamoto Days at some point. I don't know. All right. Tom says I haven't even watched Mob Psycho. What? Then why'd you make me watch that? No, half is the sub, half is the dub. More just 48 episodes? It's a completed story. Half is the sub, half is the dub. No, I don't want to watch a dub. Maybe I'd watch a dub. I don't know. Okay. How can I judge after 6 chapters? I don't know. I'll keep trying Sakamoto Days because it just got to the interesting part. I'm joking about Sakamoto Days. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Wait, can I ask about Fate though? Because I'm watching Fate Unlimited Blade Works. I swear online I read that you're supposed to start with Unlimited Blade Works and then do Heaven's Feel and then do Zero. And I'm not super hot on Unlimited Blade Works so far. Like I'm liking it okay. But Panda says he's old. He believes everything. Damn, you're taking advantage of me being a millennial. Did I read Hunter x Hunter? I love Hunter x Hunter. Yeah. I thought Hunter x Hunter's latest 10 chapter run was some of the maybe the best, most consistently good run of weekly chapters I've ever experienced. No, I'm not saying which is the chronological order. I'm saying what's the watch order. People say the watch order is Unlimited Blade Works, then Heaven's Feel, then Zero. Fate fans don't say start with Zero. I'm confused. People only say Fate Zero first because they watched it first. Unlimited Blade Works first is correct, says Michael Bisley. Yeah, that's what I read based on Fate subreddits. So a lot of you guys are saying Zero, then Unlimited Blade Works, then Heaven's Feel, but that just sounds like that's the release order, right? What's the one that what's the one that actually makes sense? I feel like Fate fans probably have a better perspective on it. The problem is I'm also several episodes into Unlimited Blade Works so far, and I'm not loving it, but I was ready to push through. Unlimited Blade Works spoils some of Zero, not gonna lie. Also, if you watch Zero last, you save the best to last. I don't know what to do with that then. This is tricky. Alright. Just watch The Wire and thank me later. Zero basically gets you interested in the world better and faster, in my opinion. Okay. Could just watch Mob instead. Yeah, but I want to keep watching Fate just because, the action seems cool, and I'm kind of interested in, the concept. Okay, Fuezo says, I think because Fate Zero is separate to the main storyline, which is Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel. If you feel like dropping, just skip to Zero. It doesn't hurt, says Phantom Greyfire. Okay. Because Zero is the best one, right? In terms of, actual shit. Okay. If I watch why do people then say watch Zero last then? What's the argument for Zero last? Bruno says hardcore Fate fans say Unlimited Blade Works first. Okay, so maybe I'll watch casuals say Zero. Yeah, I think that's the vibe I'm getting. It isn't separate though. It establishes many characters. So should I fuck. I just want whatever the best experience is. I'm down to tank through Unlimited Blade Works if it's not as good, if that overall gets me the best experience. You know what I mean? All Powerful God says, because Zero spoils the original story. Okay, so spoilers in Zero. Hazard and Gibson says, did more see the Chainsaw Man trailer? I know he didn't like the anime at all. Yeah, the Chainsaw Man trailer looks good. Like, the Reese movie looks good. Like, it looks good is an understatement, right? It looks phenomenal, etc. I'm going to be honest. For me, the real Chainsaw Man starts after the Reese arc, the Reese movie. I think that's when... I think the Reese movie kind of concludes with us beginning our descent into the true story of Chainsaw Man. So for me, I think everything that I'm really, really excited about Chainsaw Man wise is post this movie onwards. So while I'm really happy that we're going to be getting, you know, a really well done movie and everything for all of this, at the same time, for me, I almost would have been okay with, like they took a lot of time to make this movie, right? So I almost would have been okay with them not... I don't know. I just know that after the movie comes out, it's going to be a long-ass time before the next season, you know? So I'm sure the movie's going to be really good. I'm excited for the movie. It's going to be really good, yada, yada. The stuff that I'm really, really excited about comes after that. So for me, the movie is like a long process. Like, it's like we're gonna have to wait. It'll come out probably very late 2025. Then once the movie's done, then it'll take some time for them to get working on the next thing or whatever. So yeah, it's complicated, but I almost would have been okay with if they didn't go all out for a movie for the Reese arc and just tried to move things along a little bit faster, which is probably a controversial opinion. But yeah, for me the Reese arc is very good, but I think the series really takes off and becomes special after that to me. This is just to me. I'm not trying to say it. Yeah, and I think Oxidicarbine, I personally agree with... I don't want to say spoilers or whatever, but I do personally agree with your comment. I think that that's better suited for a film. I think that's better suited for a film. I think the Reese climax has some good action that they've clearly been able to, like, amp up a lot to make it movie worthy. But I think, like, the following arc would just have been a phenomenal... Like, imagining that as a movie from start to finish just is insane to think about. I don't know. Crash Bandit says, when the One Piece anime comes back, if it's good pacing, will you watch it? I might. If it's Egghead quality animation and scene direction and stuff, but also, like, good pacing. Like, I love the Hachinosu episodes and everything. Like, if they do that for the majority of the arc, I'd be really excited. Phantom Greyfire says, once you understand the basic premise, you can watch any of the Fate stuff out of order, and the pieces will fit together. None of the Fate main series heavily depend on one another. Okay, but if I start with Zero, then it spoils a lot of the other stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Shit. Okay, I got some stuff to think about then. And Neuronami says, people hyping up the Reese arc as if it's the best part of Chainsaw Man. I think Reese, the character, and I might be pronouncing it wrong, I don't really care. I think the character has a ton of fans. I'm surprised, because, like, obviously, you can understand why, like, people really like her. I don't even have her as, like, top three girls in the series. I still got, I think Asa's much. I just don't think there's that much to Reese. I think, like, it was cool for what it was. I think the shift that it did for the story was good. But I think where Chainsaw Man really becomes Chainsaw Man is after the Reese arc. I feel like the Reese arc is... I think, like, Chainsaw Man up till now is, like... There's not much that differentiate... Like, the story is solid, but you would not realize that there's anything special about the story so far. Then the Reese arc is, like... We're peering over a cliff. That's what the Reese arc is. Like, we're peering over a cliff where everything's going to change. And then after the Reese arc... You've fallen down the cliff, and now you're going down this cliff, and now the real story Chainsaw Man's happening, and you're just in this descent. But I think the Reese arc is the last arc before we fall off the cliff. So it's tricky because, like, I think it's a very good arc, but I don't think it's, like, I feel like if you build it up as this mind-blowing thing, I think a lot of people can still probably... I don't know how the anime is going to do it, but I think a lot of people would still come away from it being like, well, why is Chainsaw Man so crazy, special, unique because of this art? Like, you know? I'm sure the anime will do a lot with its own flair to it. But yeah, I didn't care for the animation style of season 1. I could respect it a lot for what they did with it, but I just hate the defenses for it were just so... They missed the point, because it's just like, what? It's supposed to be like a movie because Chainsaw Man takes so much inspiration from movies. It's like, no, just because Chainsaw Man takes a lot of inspiration from movies and it intentionally tries to make a lot of its scene direction and paneling feel like a film, it's combining that with the manga medium to create a very unique feel that's actually a lot more dreamlike and like as though everything sort of just floats from one panel to another, if that makes sense. It's a very unique feeling that it's creating. Actually trying, and like films in general, like, yeah, trying to make it like a movie is a concept, but films in general have ridiculously different feels and aesthetics and vibes and pacing and direction, right? Like it's totally different to be like a fucking like what a Law and Order episode feels like compared to like a fucking David Lynch film or something like that. Like it's just so fucking stupid to be like it's supposed to be like a movie, therefore making everything feel very grounded and realistic in every single frame. That's exactly what it's supposed to be like. It's like, no, that's like saying all movies are supposed to feel the same. Chainsaw Man is a much more surreal, dreamlike sort of series in a lot of ways, and that grounded approach really, I cannot imagine how it would have done a lot of future concepts effectively with that angle. Eric Reed says, I think they're going for that Mugen Train cash boat. Yeah, but I just don't know if it lends itself to the same thing as Mugen Train. I think that the following arc, I'm not going to say the name of the arc, but the arc that was previously just mentioned, I think that lends itself to an absolute cash boat of a film. Like, if somebody, that's a film that somebody could not watch Chainsaw, like, not know anything, jack shit about Chainsaw Man about, walk into a film of that arc, and come out of it being like, that was the most trippy, nightmarish, psychedelic, crazy juiced up feel, like, insane, like, outside the box anime film that you've seen. Like, definitely nothing like any other shonen whatsoever. I'm not saying the Reese movie is like other shonen, but I'm just like, that would be a phenomenal film. Like, you could get so many people going in blind and coming out of it just like hardcore, like, I need more Chainsaw Man. Rumbleweed, thanks a lot. Long time Morge, favorite JoJo stan, thanks a lot. Wonder if you. If you take away Wonder if you, call me old fashioned, but like the world star platinum, whatever. All right, guys. All right, everybody. We are going to call it here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It appears that the best chapter of the year was the Gorosei chapter. And, oh, wait, one more. For whom, thanks for the 5. Season 1 Mob Psycho as a punishment since you didn't want to watch it. We do have to make the punishments. I need to eat dinner, otherwise I would do that now. Season 1 Mob Psycho as a punishment since you... No. Because I'll watch that probably anyway now. I might drop Fate and watch that instead. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I might drop Fate, watch that instead. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. We'll see. I might drop Fate Unlimited Blade Works and just try and switch over to Zero. I don't know. We'll see. All right, everybody. We're going to call it a day. Thanks for tuning in. Best chapter of the year, as voted by all, was the Gorosei chapter. Close second was for Garling chapter. For me, I'd probably say the Loki chapter, Garling second. I still think the Gorosei chapter probably had me the most hyped when I initially read it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I will talk to you all later.